It's day 2 of the Bassmasters Crown Green Bowls Championships from Ellesmere Port. The game's number 1, Brian Duncan, is through to the second round. But the top accolades on day 1 went Tommy Johnstone's way. To beat any champion by a margin of 15 takes some doing. To beat Robert Hitchin 21-6 in a major championship is a major achievement. Well, great anticipation today. A bit early for the pub to be doing some business, but the bookies really have been raking in the cash. Rob McCaffrey's down there with them.
Here 3 Duncan, 6 Johnson. I'll lay 8 par 2, 8 Broaders, 8 Strutt.
Now the bookies' business is certainly brisk. Honest Cliff Hope, where's the clever money going this morning?
Well, it's all going as usual on the favourite, which is Brian Duncan, and not surprising.
He's the king, is he?
He is, he's number 1.
Now I'm new to the game, I'm looking for a good outside bet. Who do you suggest?
Well, I don't think you could do much better than look at those 2 lads from Manchester, either David Copeland or Tommy Hayes. Both played well yesterday and have definitely got a chance.
I've got to ask you, has there been any money for the women?
Yes, there's been a small amount for the women. The pick of the women has been Diane Hunt. There has been money for Diane Hunt.
Diane Hunt 150 to 1. Yes, I think I'll have some of that one.
Oh, up to you.
Well, it was certainly a controversial move to allow the ladies into play, not a popular move in some quarters. Now, Tony Poole was particularly opinionated during Mildred Green's game with Alan Shacklady yesterday. Poole stirring up a right old hornet's nest.
Well, obviously they're all on the hiding to nothing, and the players that have to play against them. And with the ladies, never experiencing this type of thing before, I think nerves just overtake it altogether. And that leaves them with very little chance because of the nerves.
Very quickly, will there ever come a day when the ladies can take on the men and actually win one of these major tournaments?
I think eventually, in a long time to come. I don't think we'll be about them.
Now, Mary Ashcroft, you are a leading light in ladies' Crown Green Bowls. What do you feel about Tony's comment of yesterday?
Well, I think they're very unfair and unwarranted, because I think the ladies have worked hard this last few years, improving themselves, improving that they're good enough to play in any tournament, and I think it's just a matter of time before they start to win. Just because they're not playing well, he's only got to look at the men's games yesterday to see that some of the men were nervous on that green, as well as Mildred Green. And don't forget, we've 2 more ladies' games today, and they could be in for a little surprise, because with 2 good bowlers on, it's just a matter of who settles down the first. I think they're very unwarranted comment, that is. I'm a bit upset about it.
Well, Di Hunt is the first of the ladies to take up the gauntlet this morning. She plays against Merseyside's Ian Wright a little later on. Fighting talk. Well, it is a ladies' game, whether you like it or not. It's also a young man's game, which it never used to be. And here's one of the youngest in the Bassmasters, one of the youngest playing top-level Crown Green Bowls today, Gary Wallis. First of all, Gary, what about the ladies? What's your view?
Well, I think they had real sparkle to the game, Elton. I'm all in favour of the ladies playing. I think it's what the viewing public want to see. There's men and ladies watching the game of Crown Green Bowls these days, and I think it adds real interest to the game.
Now, there's a lot of young players in the game today. Why do you think that is? Why do people take up Crown Green Bowls at your age and younger?
A lot to do with yourself, the TV. There's a chance for people to shine and make a career out of a sport which they can enjoy and keep fit at the same time. There's a lot of miles walked in a game of bowls, and I think it keeps you fit. I mean, look at my figure, trim. And I think it does, it's good for the game, really.
You're an old man these days, aren't you, compared to one of the lads out there?
Yeah, young Kevin Shaw. I'm 3 years older than him now. I feel a bit aged now.
21-year-old Kevin Shaw, the youngest player in the tournament. What do we know about him, Gary?
Well, Kevin won the Isle of Man tournament this year. I was in the Isle of Man. I got beaten in the quarter-finals. I was scheduled to play him in the semi-final, but lost my quarter-final game. He's got real ability and he's cool under pressure. This will be a testing time for him this morning playing Bancroft. I just hope Bancroft plays the crowd a little and helps ease Kevin's nerves. Other than that, he may feel a little bit of the pressure.
John Bancroft, 1986 Bassmaster. A fun player on the green, Gary. Everyone enjoys watching him play.
He's a real entertainer. He's good for the game, he's good for the crowd, and if Bancroft's on form, he'll take some beating.
Well, I can tell you that he's 7 chalks up. Shaw hasn't scored yet. And I must say, talking to Kevin earlier on this morning, and he did strike me as being a trifle nervous, Gary.
Yeah, well, it's his first time under the cameras. It takes some doing. You've got to have a lot of mental ability and also mental nerve to step on that green, and playing an ex-winner, he knows John very well, they're both from the Manchester area, and I think he'll find it hard this morning.
Well, he's got a lot to do. He's 7 down as we join our commentary team of Brian Brett and Hugh Johns.
Well, I think that was a fair summing up of the situation out on the green there. John Banjo Bancroft is strumming merrily out there. 3 doubles and a single in the first 4 ends. His first bowl to this end, right on the jack. And Kevin Shaw is going to have a bang at this one. And noticeably it's Bancroft who's going to do the wicket keeping. Mary Ashcroft is our referee here, and she doesn't get involved in firing shots.
Bancroft,
1 for John Bancroft, 8-0 his lead. And the firing situation, Crown bowls demand that bowlers who intend to fire signal their intentions so that there's no chance of the bowl going at 1,000 miles an hour out into the crowd and doing some damage. And that's a sad sight for Kevin Shaw to look at. 3 doubles, 2 singles for John Bancroft, as he sends up another of those yellow disc bowls with perfect accuracy, makes contact with the block on the mark that he'd set. Kevin Shaw with a mountain decline, Brian Brett.
Yes, not too happy about his attitude. Probably that's wrong. It's just he is terribly nervous. I just had a quick word with both players in the hut before they went out. John absolutely bubbling, Hugh, and poor old Kevin really down in the dumps before he went out. I don't think he's happy about the green. He doesn't know it. But John, you know, when he's a mood player, we've said this before, he really looks on fire.
yeah.
And he's going to have another strike.
Camera.
Got it. And does the jack stay on the green? No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. Now then. Well, here's a situation. 3 bowls left on the green. Let's see. There's 2 yellow and 1 blue, and it's obviously going to be a measuring job.
Bancroft.
Here's the strike. And he gets the jack, and unluckily, while we were looking at that slow motion replay of the strike, it was a single. They didn't need to measure. They both agreed that John Bancroft's bowl was closest, so John goes on to 9, and poor Kevin stays on 0.
The last thing really John wants, Hugh, is to have a measure at any stage. If he can count 1 and not hang around while he's in this mood and while he's in this rhythm, he's going to keep going.
And yet it's fair to say that Kevin Shaw qualified from strong competition, the Isle of Man Festival, and the bookies, they weren't going to give you anything special this morning. He was even money on this heat. John Bancroft 4-6.
They don't know how to take John Bancroft, that's the thing. I mean, on form, he's as good as anything at all in the game, and if he's not right, then he can be a bit of a disaster.
Well, we have the first chalks on the board for Kevin Shaw, and he eagerly comes up to see if he can make it 2. And he has, I think. Yes. Well, good applause echoing around this Woodlands green here as Kevin Shaw gets the chance to change things. And I should think that'll cheer him up a bit, Brian.
Yes, it ought to. That's what he needed. He'd liked it probably 4 or 5 ends earlier. But he'll now pick out his own line. The important thing now is to get the jack exactly where he wants and not overplay it. He's pushed it deep, right towards the edge. It's stopped on now. He needs a lead.
Now this is a very difficult mark. Anything past the block, and you're in the ditch.
It's a poor lead now, Hugh, isn't it? Because it's given him a sight. He's only just got to go nudge past that one, and the pressure is then back onto him. He's not beating it. He's not beating it. He's just nudged him wrong. Oh dear.
The bowls are 2 yards off. The blocks just over a foot.
Mary Ashcroft, who's made such a name for herself as a Crown Bowls referee. Strong, positive voice, and very much in charge out on that green. Ranks alongside any of the men referees in the Crown Green game. Well, I think they're all about 2 to 3 yards short, but that was expected, and I think John Bancroft has got it. 1 for John Bancroft, 10-2 his lead, and that was a definite disaster for Kevin Shaw, Brian.
That was the problem, wasn't it? Switching different country, gets the block and pushes it too far, because he was then frightened of running off and played too short. John shortening the game considerably now. He likes just working his way around the green. He knows it well. Kevin, as I say, worried before he went out, and he's getting off to the start he just didn't need.
John Bancroft from Matley, Hyde in Cheshire. Won practically everything in the Crown game in the, 16 years that he's been playing. Kevin Shaw, 21 years old, as we said. Still a lot to learn, and certainly a lot to learn about this green here at the Woodlands. Banjo urging that bowl on, and he's short. So here's another winning end for Kevin Shaw. Road looks good. The weight just enough to pinch the 2.
Shaw, 2.
So on one end, Kevin Shaw doubles his score. And it's 4-10 off the mat. Now another chance for Kevin Shaw to find a bit of land that he likes. He goes into the corner that he aimed for last time. Would you guess, Brian, that the indications are that he wants to play diagonals from that corner?
Yes.
Back to the one beneath us here?
That's a fair bet, isn't it, Hugh? Because he wants to lengthen the game considerably. He reckons that John's weakness, if he's got one, is on the corner. Is in the corners, the long marks. But I mean, again, that is a poor lead. You see, that's the second time he's been up in that sort of area and led maybe 3 yards short. So he's putting pressure on himself. He's beating himself on that.
Banjo certainly intends not to be short, but he has gone a fair distance through. Very difficult from our angle here to see which is shortest, which is closest to at this moment. Well, that one is. That at this moment of time is the winning bowl. Bancroft taken a lot off his first delivery, and I think too much.
Shaw, 1.
Right, now then, Kevin Shaw scored on 2 consecutive ends for the first time in the match. It's 5-10 off the mat, and Kevin bowling into this corner, and interestingly enough, his mum and dad, Ken and Stella, are down on the rails beneath us, getting a fair close-up view of what's going on here. Ken. Now, it's not a bad lead. Perhaps his confidence now beginning to come to the surface. Banjo's weight, John Bancroft that is, his nickname Banjo.
Yellow ball, you're a yard over.
Weight is right, but his line was wrong.
Kevin does like these corners. I saw him win the Isle of Man very, very impressively by concentrating on corner play. Beat everybody in sight.
Beautiful bowl. Takes some beating.
John Bancroft not quite hit the heights as he might in earlier seasons. He's this time going to use some power. A strike.
So that strike not working for John Bancroft, and Kevin Shaw scores a single.
Kevin Shaw is forcing his way back into this game after trailing by so much, and he really is a very, very good corner bowler, as this one proves. Right on the jack. Good ball, well worth a point.
So that's single. 10-6 is Bancroft's lead. It wasn't long ago that he was leading 9-0.
We're back to the yard again. Yard.
Now, he's eager, he's bubbling, he's young, he's chasing his bowl. Get it past! No, it wouldn't. Just promoted the yellow bowl. And Stella, Kevin's mum, down on the rails there, hoping that her son will be winning a couple of ends and coming back in that direction before very long. But it looks as though John Bancroft has got a winner with Shaw's help, in fact, the promotion of his bowl, because that last one was never ever going to feature in the count. So, John Bancroft, a single. 11-6, the block back in his hand, and he will change the land again. John, a bowler, since his dad Neville got him started in the game, 11 years old in local parks. There are very few greens, very few crown greens that John Bancroft hasn't had a trundle on at some time or another.
Or one. Yes, he's had a tremendous career, hasn't he? Think of him, an old man. He's 27, John Bancroft, former Bassmasters, Talbot, the Manchester Evening News, and he's won the Isle of Man as well. He wins all over the place.
And of course Kevin Shaw will realise that John Bancroft there, watching that bowl go by, is a Bassmasters winner back in '86 when he beat Joe Bradbury. So Kevin has picked up another single here.
Shaw, one.
Yes. So Kevin would like to find a corner to work from, and he's undecided. He's looking to his left, down towards the players' area, where the players' cabin is. See if he can win an end here, and then perhaps try the other diagonal, but he's got to keep that jack on the green. It's going deep into the corner.
And if there's a measure, Hugh, the measures won't have far to come. They're sitting there on the bench watching. Frank Lomas and Roy Bate, the two measures for this game.
Little hesitant, Kevin Shaw, going for that one, because he knows there's a bit of a downhill finish in this corner. If you get past the jack, you'll probably wind up in the ditch, and I think that's where John Bancroft is going. Yes, he is. And that's the difficulty. So Kevin Shaw can be a little more adventurous this one. His first bowl stayed on the green, and a good promotion. Very good promotion indeed. That was well played.
It's terribly difficult to see him beating this, Hugh, isn't it?
That is a winning
line.
That is a winning end.
Hugh John says before he plays this bowl, it's a winning end. But it's so difficult to get through.
There is no way that John Bancroft can get anything more than a reduction of the count here.
He'll do well. He tried.
Oh. He did try, but all he could do was reduce the count. Kevin Shaw scores a single, a very well organised and very well earned single that. So now 8-11 off the mat for Kevin Shaw. Shows the block to John Bancroft. That again, another of the rules of Crown Green. You must show the block to your opponent so that he can see whether it's going to be bowled with the bias on the right or bowled with bias on the left, finger peg or thumb peg. And he does go for the diagonal towards the right hand corner as we look down from the green. But as the camera looks at it, the bowl is coming straight head on, and he's very, very short.
He was talking about playing this mark before he went out, Hugh, and he knows the danger. If you just miss the line going finger peg this way, you can cut away off the back of a ridge. John's got it right.
Little early morning rain here in Ellesmere Port, which will have slowed the running of the green a bit, but it certainly didn't slow down Kevin Shaw's progress there. That was a beautiful bowl. John Bancroft looking very thoughtful as he goes back to the footer. Again, he's got to bowl to a head that looks unbeatable at this moment. It's trying awfully hard for him. It's trying very hard, and it's an absolute beauty. Oh, that I think is probably the best bowl I've seen bowled in this tournament so far.
Absolutely.
Gorgeous.
Looked unbeatable. But this is Bancroft, isn't it?
Well
Bancroft
worth seeing that one again, Brian.
Absolutely. Bancroft in the move. Corner to corner. There's no way through. Just look at that. It's got to be absolute perfection. The length, the line. Cut past the first. No. It looks impossible to get through there. He's judged it right. Super. What a bowl.
And as you come back from that slow motion replay, John Bancroft has produced another one. A little bit easier to lead to the block, of course, because having put the block out, you know exactly the line that it took and you can go to it. Oh, well followed, Kevin. Oh, a splendid delivery. I tell you what, John Bancroft is much aware now, I think, that he's got a game on his hands. And what a superb bowl that was! Well, that's three of the best bowls we've seen. Well, definitely three of the, as consecutive bowls, that's three of the best I've ever seen.
Well, it's not over, is it? Because he's been and had a look. He's left the footer, Kevin Shaw. He's had a look. He knows exactly what's required. He's got to play out that winning bowl again.
Well, now, watch it, watch it. Unlucky, my son. He got a contact. It wasn't a firm one. If it had been, he'd have rolled to the jack right through. Oh, what a splendid bit of bowls that we're getting out of this game.
Bancroft, 1.
But the end product, and well deserved, John Bancroft gets a single and takes his lead to 13-8.
Crucial end there for John Bancroft. There are times when you feel that both bowlers ought to count a point. That really was sparkling stuff. Bancroft in a position now not to go fully into the corners, but to pick his line.
One or two tiny bare patches of green in that area, though the groundsman here at Ellesmere Port certainly has done a marvellous job in this hot summer where so many greens have been burnt to a frazzle.
They've had the help of a green doctor, I think, Hugh. He's been down a few times. There is a specialist in the area who does golf and bowling greens and really work wonders here.
Not a lot of breeze here.
Yard over that one.
What, coming up to 10:25, and still plenty of room for a few more spectators at the Woodlands. And with bowling like this, it's really well worth coming out and having a look at it.
Any more?
Bancroft's first bowl,
14 inches, that.
winning it at the moment, and Mary Ashcroft, our referee, accurate in her information to the bowlers. 14 inches short, she said it is. I bet if you took a tape measure down there, she'd be right.
I'll tell you what, he likes this. He's followed it all the way down. That's why. Has it done it?
Wait a minute.
John Bancroft record?
He's for a moment I think he was going to question it, but then decided no.
You're absolutely right, Hugh. And looking then at Mary Ashcroft, well, let's not forget either, there was a controversy when she was first appointed as an official for this competition because lady referees just did not control men's matches, and the British Crown Green Referees Society said no way. But now they've relented, and she is handling any game, and well deserved it. Great authority on the game, and a great fighter for ladies bowls.
Kevin Shaw then, 9-13 down, only 4. He's still in this game. He's still in this game. He was 0-9 behind at one point. Now John Bancroft just wants to get back. Maybe a yard or so short.
In distance, your bowl, yard and a half. John's is a yard at the side.
There you are, that's the geography of the head. Kevin Shaw, his pole a yard and a half short. Bancroft's a yard short. Kevin, got to be careful when he goes up there. He must stay a metre from the running bowl.
Won it, John.
And that's the winner. So, John Bancroft having a word with the crowd, and I heard him say, I can't believe that. Dear, oh dear.
15 inches in distance. Yes.
Bancroft always eager and interested to have a little chat with things down there.
He's going to have a go at this, Hugh. He can't find a way to beat it. He's going to try and thump it off.
Striking. Missed it.
Sure. One.
So, John Bancroft. 13-10. That's from 9-0. Kevin Shaw. Footballer himself, very keen.
John Bancroft's 6th appearance in the Bassmaster, a winner in '86. But I wonder if it's getting more difficult to win this championship.
Over the years, it's steadily got more difficult. When I won it in '86, there were only 16 players. Now there's 32 champions. It is very difficult, yes, and it's a pressure situation. This morning myself, when I got up, I felt the pre-match nerves. Now I'm here, I don't feel so bad, but I'm looking forward to my game. I've got a difficult game with Kevin, and so I'm looking forward to it.
fine reply here by John Bancroft. Just run through the line, absolutely right. Kevin will want a little bit of guidance from referee Mary Ashcroft. He's still line one, but he wants to get across the green. He's going to try the other diagonal if he can win this end.
Well, he certainly looks as though he's on course here. Desperately short for that one. Needed to put more pressure on Bancroft, although both his bowls are in the road. If Bancroft wants to use pace or wants to draw in, it's going to be a promotion job. Yes. I think that's 2. Yes, it is.
2.
Well, this is a tremendous comeback. Absolutely brilliant. $13-12. 13-12 from 9-0 down. There's only 1 in it. Now, Kevin now working the side of the green, working on what basically is a drop down. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And you can see the grass line of Bancroft almost following Kevin Shaw's bowl, but just drops down on the target perfectly. So that little counter from Kevin Shaw ends, but there's still a lot left in this game. It's been as tight as anything I've seen here. And at 14-12, a short break, but when you come back, more exciting action from this game.
Big Dom. When you want protection around the clock, there's one hero who's hard to knock. Late at night, germs are multiplying. Like silver bullets, they started flying. Big Dom. But don't worry, ma'am, about your Lou. Big Dom comes to your rescue. He shoots to kill germs of any size and clings to the bowl until you rise. Big Bad Dom.
All you demolition experts, painters and decorators, and doctors and nurses everywhere, you've been working your bodies off. Inform the management. Insist on Farley's lunchtimers. Demand your vitamins and minerals, whether you're in sanitation or the removals business. Give us the lunchtimers and we'll finish the job.
So Farley's, so good.
Mostin! Notice anything different about me?
Yes, well, the stupid smug grin's the same as usual.
No, Mostin.
The medallion, yes, very tasteful.
Actually, this astute financial investment was a free introductory offer from these people.
Sproggett and Sylvester? Never heard of them.
Oh, smart cookies. They could do a lot for you.
Yes, well, actually, I got mine at a lot for the Alliance and Leicester.
You don't want to get involved with these fly-by-night financial cowboys, Mostin.
This is one of the biggest building societies in the country.
Size isn't everything, is it?
No. But they got things like phone banking.
No. Sproggett and Sylvester have got phones coming out of their ears.
Well, I bet they haven't got a cash card that you can use in other people's machines.
Mostin, this card could get me into Fort Knox.
Now then. Right.
Mostin.
You get a dafter investor at Sproggett and Sylvester.
Hello, Kitchen. Has it clicked with you? We've spent years with this thing that has all the appeal of a boiled cabbage sandwich, all the style of an old ordrum, all the charm.
Where's me tea?
Enough said.
Recognise your cooker's a slob. Right now, there's the biggest cooker and fire event of the year at your local gas showroom. Great trade-ins and an easy way to pay.
Hello, Kitchen.
Who are you talking to, huh?
Enough said.
Haven't you gone yet?
Are you trying to get rid of me?
No.
course not.
You're up to something. I can tell. Come on, out with it.
I'm making a Nescafe commercial.
On your own? Well, we always do them together.
Not this one, Richard.
Why not?
It's about those precious moments when everyone's gone out for the day, and I can enjoy my Nescafe in peace.
Oh, can't we both enjoy it?
No.
Nescafe. Coffee at its best. Couldn't I just stay for the bean shake?
Willow is churned like butter, tastes like butter, and looks like butter. In fact, only the price tells you it isn't. So you can be a little more extravagant. When you want the luxury of butter, but for less bread, wallow in Willow.
Can your powder clean better than Ariel Ultra? Look, wine-stained napkins, which sometimes only get this clean. Get amazingly clean with Ariel Ultra. No powder cleans better.
Hello again and welcome back. The score 18-12 now to John Bancroft, but once again it looks as though Kevin Shaw is making a little comeback, and I'm joined up here in the box by his mother and father, Ken and Stella. Ken, he's performed one marvellous comeback here in this game. Can he do it again, do you think?
Well, I think so. He's never beaten, isn't Kevin? And I think if he can get his corner game together, he can even come back at John even now. It's just this one particular mark that John's caught him out on, and he's played it very, very well. I just hope Kevin can make a good lead now, and I think we can get back in the game.
Stella, as his mother, how much support does he look for from you?
Well, I think he likes to hear our voices at the side of the green.
Gosh, what are you going to say about that? He's just thrown the block off.
Well, that's a bad lead out, isn't it? But I suppose he was trying just to get that bit further and hope to catch John out on the down part of that corner. Let's just hope he can improve on the first ball.
Is he normally a nervous person, Stella?
No, he seems to bowl very with very much confidence, and it doesn't matter how far behind he goes, he will always keep trying. He never gives up.
He's so young too, only 21.
That's right, yes. But he has been bowling for quite a few years now.
And you would feel that there's a bright future ahead for him. Certainly us watching him here believe that.
Well, I hope so. I really do hope there is.
To be fair, Ken, John Bancroft bowling very well, isn't he?
I think he's come up against a Bancroft in tremendous form this morning, and I think Kevin can feel himself very proud to still be in this game, because it was really going away from him. And at one stage he was nearly level. As I say, he'll keep plugging away, and who knows.
Fine. Well, I think we'll all join in with the bubbling of anticipation of Ken Shaw's mother and father, wondering if he can pull off some dramatic recovery once again. He's 6 behind now. Mary Ashcroft has just signalled another single for John Bancroft. 19-13, his lead. And John putting a very, very short mark out, Brian.
Yes, he has. He likes this sort of mark, doesn't he? He's able to pick it, and look at that. You can't argue with it. He really has bowled exceptionally well this morning. Kevin has had to bowl 2 balls to count 1. But they're querying it this time.
Yeah. The question now is whether this is a legal mark.
Yes, whether it is the 19 metres from the footer to the jack. He did actually hit the jack, so he nudged it a bit further. He might just get away with this, courtesy of that little wick he got. So that's Roy Bate at the jack end. This is Frank Lomax at the footer. 19 metres. Yes, I think it was just the promotion onto the jack that's made it a legal mark. So Kevin now has to bowl to it. 19-13 down. The stage is set for another Kevin Shaw comeback.
Creeping in to try and get round the back. Didn't quite make it. John Bancroft then. Coming in off the top, wanting the buyers to work for him now. Beats the blue ball, so he's holding 2. The match is against Kevin Shaw. Unless he can cut the count down or win the end, his efforts will be over, but that is going to win it. Oh, yes! Oh, that is brilliant. Absolutely gorgeous delivery then from Kevin. I think we might just see the quality of that bowl under terrific pressure. The game was against him. The 2 shots are against him. He had to pull out something brilliant, and you can't do better than that, can you? Look at that. Gorgeous stuff from young Kevin Shaw. So he's got the block back in his hands. He's 14-19 behind. Can he do it?
Well, who would bet against it, Hugh? What was it, 9-0? Came all the way back to 13-12. Away went Bancroft again. But if Kevin can pick his land and lead, and this he hasn't done when he's tried to lengthen the game, and while that is a length bowl, he's off the road. Bancroft halfway up the green, following the line. Just a nudge on the jack.
So John gets a kiss off the block. Stayed closest, but his yellow ball is somewhere away. Kevin should feel confident of beating it, and he has. Yes. Brilliant stuff from Kevin. And Bancroft will know that he's been in the match. If he does win it, he hasn't won it yet. Hey, hey. No, right through the gap. Another single. Kevin Shaw. He's still alive and doing well here at the Woodlands, Ellesmere Port. 15-19, only 4 in it. Now the big thing here, Brian, as you've just said earlier, he's got to get a decent lead in, hasn't he?
He hasn't led, has he? And he's adding to his problems by not leading. You would fancy this sort of a mark. I talked to him earlier and he said, you know, at some stage I might just try and find a bit of land I can bowl to and bowl close to. But he's got to get up and over and run down, and a couple of rows short.
And I tell you what, he's bowled some cracking second bowl savers. So nothing is beyond it. And Bancroft has rolled right out of the back. So that blue bowl is actually counting at the moment. Now, if Kevin can get a double here, we're in for an absolutely sparkling and splendid finish.
It's better with
Go
this
on.
view.
Yes, yes. Oh, again, it's the second bowl that does the business. Brilliant.
But in nudging that jack, has it cost him 1? Has he swapped 1 for 1? It's a very good one, but he did nudge the jack. And John Bancroft has asked Mary Ashcroft, just look at the second bowls.
Kevin fancies the blue bowl. He pointed to it.
This will determine whether it's a firing shot, a strike. John will want to
John
look.
wants to have a look for himself. That's no criticism of Mary.
No, he wants to know the angles, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It looks 2 really from this angle, Hugh, against him.
It does. Kevin is totally confident about the 2.
Kevin Shaw's taken the knocks over the years. He's a Bolton Wanderers fan.
As I believe you are yourself, dear man.
It has been rumoured, never proved, Hugh.
Now then, what's this going to do? Hey, it's looking pretty good. Oh! It's saved 1.
Sure, 1.
16-19. 3 chalks adrift. Splitting the green, way over on that far side. Good view for the spectators in the covered enclosure here at the Woodlands, who've been enthralled by this cracking game of bowls.
John much further again. Kevin's lead not right, but now it is.
Now he's with a little assistance, Kevin holding one. John Bancroft has a look at this bowl. It is the second bowl, time and time again, that Kevin makes do all the work for him. Just got that one a little bit wrong. John Bancroft, semi-finalist 84 and 85, winner in 86, out in the first round 87 and 88. And here with weight. Bingo! And what happens? Dead end. Dead end. Everything moving then.
All possibilities there. He might even have gone out, Kevin Shaw, if that ball had landed or Jack had landed properly, but he lives. Still, he sets the mark. He set the original one, he sets this. 16-19 against him.
Well, what a Friday morning for young Kevin Shaw. A lad from Bolton, 21 years old. Showing many people for the first time just what he can do with a set of crown bowls. Just over the top, down the other side. Excellent lead. John Bancroft stops, has a look, rolls through. That line was very good. If he can find that line again and take some of the running off his second bowl, could trouble Shaw.
He wants one ideally just behind the back if he can to cover the back bowl. No, but he's counting two.
He's got a wide target there, though.
Vulnerable, Hugh. Tickle the jack.
Definitely vulnerable. Bancroft not firing, but bowling with extra fire, and got it totally wrong. Oh, that is a dreadful bowl. Hey, Kevin Shaw's pressure getting to Bancroft. 18-19. Well, all the pressure in the early stages of this game was on the 21-year-old Kevin Shaw, but he has bowled so well now that the pressure is beginning to show in the face and in the delivery of John Bancroft.
Very slack end by John Bancroft, and no reason for Shaw to change anything, providing he doesn't push the jack too close to the edge. He must now surely lead well.
Yes, he needs a bowl about 18 inches short on the jack. Get up there, get up a bit further, because anything past the jack is going to go in the ditch.
Bancroft took a totally different line in. Would now peg away.
Well, they're both a long way from the target, and it's anybody's guess who is actually winning the end at this moment. Now, cannon off.
Oh dear.
Well, I don't think either of those blue bowls are profitable. John Bancroft. Can it get through? No, it's dropped short. So, who's got it?
They know. It could be two.
Yes, it is two. It is two for Kevin Shaw, and he leads 20-19. What an incredible game. This is genuine excitement, bubbling and rippling around the green here at the Woodlands. This could be then the winning end. Kevin Shaw needs one. John Bancroft needs two. It's dropping down. That's a very good lead. That's going to be difficult to beat.
Well, it is. It's a foot short and it's in the way. They swing in from there.
Bancroft has just missed the target. He had to hit the target then because the weight was too much. He's gone out at the back. Kevin Shaw then, holding one. Ready to deliver his second. Can he win it?
We're almost over. We've got to go to the news, unfortunately, but you won't miss a thing. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
For 3 generations, mums have been sterilizing babies' bottles and teats with Milton. Nowadays, you can get Milton in convenient tablet form for effective protection from germs. Nothing is safer than the Milton method. 3 generations of protection you can trust.
Diddling. That's some pork farms on my late was not granted partner. There's a parcel of fine snags nothing in them pork farms with 'em, eh? I remember my first sniffing of pork farms. I was no but a nibbit, rocking in my dad's great clumpers. Slap I could have clumped. Well, it's no use me chuntering on like a wizened old furtic. Mrs. 11, my gang was forgot twag. Oi-oh!
Must be from t'other side of Clundy.
Pork Farms, the buntiest chompers in the Clundy. New Diet Pepsi, the right one for real cola taste.
Breakfast, dinner, lunch and tea. He is so creamy, our leader is Slurp.
Now on Granada, the headlines.
Good morning. British women and children leaving Iraq still don't know exactly when they'll be allowed to fly home. Iraq has said it will fly them out, but planes here are standing by to go and collect them. More than 200 are stuck in a Baghdad hotel waiting for exit formalities to be sorted out. And reports are coming in of dwindling supplies and health problems among those waiting to leave.
The evacuation of women and children from Baghdad has failed to start on time. Their transport plans are in disarray given Iraq's insistence they be flown out on Iraqi Airways jets from capital to capital. Consular access has just been allowed and more British women arrived from Kuwait overnight. Latest reports say that mothers have run out of nappers. More gastric problems have broken out and cold drinks are in short supply. They are bearing up, according to the British ambassador, but desperate to leave and terrified of staying. Brent Sadler, ITN, Baghdad.
The United Nations Secretary-General, Senor Perez de Cuellar, is due to start talks on the Gulf crisis with the Iraqi Foreign Minister in Jordan about now. And in London, King Hussein of Jordan meets Mrs Thatcher today as part of his efforts for an Arab solution. Chris Shaw in London reports.
Senor Perez de Cuellar arrived in Amman making it clear he was not here to offer concessions or negotiate on the 5 UN resolutions demanding Iraq's withdrawal from Kuwait. But before opening talks, he struck an optimistic note.
I am hopeful that if the Iraqi authorities have accepted my invitation, it's because they are prepared to discuss with me on ways and means of lessening the tension and solving the problem.
Across the table will be the Iraqi Foreign Minister, Mr. Tariq Aziz, a man Mr. Perez de Cuellar knows well from the days of Gulf War diplomacy. But in public at least, Mr. Aziz has offered no hint of a compromise. In Baghdad, the black American leader, Mr. Jesse Jackson, has added his efforts to the flurry of diplomacy, meeting President Saddam Hussein. And here in London, King Hussein of Jordan has arrived for talks with Mrs. Thatcher as part of his initiative for an Arab solution to the crisis. He wants Western troops replaced by an Arab peacekeeping force, but neither Britain nor America seem likely to agree to that.
Detectives investigating alleged council corruption have arrested 11 people in raids across northwest England. In Operation Endeavour, 45 officers went to addresses in Merseyside, Lancashire, Greater Manchester and Cheshire. Police say the roundup took place in response to claims of corruption at St Helens Council over the disposal of property and land sites to developers. The Prince of Wales goes into hospital today for a second operation on the arm which he broke during a polo match 2 months ago. Prince Charles spent 3 days in hospital in Wiltshire after the fall, but he suffered constant pain after the broken bone failed to fuse back together. He was forced to cancel official engagements. Tomorrow, Prince Charles will undergo 3 hours of surgery at the Queen's Medical Centre in Nottingham, and he'll be treated as an NHS patient. East and West German ministers will today sign a treaty paving the way to German unification. An internal row in West Germany over abortion laws had threatened to scupper the plans. But after 2 days of crisis talks, Chancellor Kohl's Christian Democrats and the opposition Social Democrats agreed that East Germany could keep its more liberal abortion laws until a new all-German law is passed in 1992. The European space rocket Ariane has been successfully blasted into space with 2 satellites on board. It was launched from French Guiana carrying a British military satellite, which defence experts say could help communications in the Gulf. That's it. Full details in News at 1, but I'll be back at midday.
This is Granada. Now we return to Ellesmere Port for the Bassmasters.
Welcome back. Sorry we had to leave that match at such a gripping stage, but here's the last end now between Kevin Shaw and J Bancroft. Commentary by Hugh Johns. It's exciting stuff.
So, you could not have had a more exciting game in the first round of this Bassmasters than this one. Kevin Shaw setting this block out on what he fondly hopes could be a winning end, when earlier in the match he was out of sight, but he has got to lead well. He likes the look of that one as he follows it in. It's not bad. It's a good lead for a change. He hasn't been leading well. Bancroft. The line is good. Nope. Needed to have made a connection there to get on the block itself. Bancroft is not a happy man at this moment. Former winner, twice a semi-finalist, had this match in his pocket until this 21-year-old came storming back. Now, this is important. He's holding 2. All the pressure in the world now on Bancroft. This bowl to stay alive. This has got to count. This has got to make a connection with something. And Shaw is waving it through. It's gone. It's out. And Kevin Shaw, the winner, 21-19.
What a remarkable finish. It was just as good for us to see it again a second time. I just wonder what it was like for you to watch that ending for the first time.
It was nice, yeah. Especially when he missed.
Now that must rank as the greatest win of your career.
Well, yeah, certainly. I've never played in a competition quite like this. So, to draw John the first round, the past winner, excellent play. It's great to beat him. Yeah.
Did you draw any encouragement from Mum and Dad being here?
Oh yes, they follow me around all season, follow me around everywhere. So, yeah, nice for me down there.
What was it like, Ken, when that winning ball went in?
Oh, brilliant that last ball, because at 9-0 and what was it, 16-5-6, I really thought it was an uphill battle, but knowing Kevin, he keeps plugging away, and I thought if he could just hit some sort of a consistent length, he could do, John.
Did you get nerves, Stella?
Well, obviously you always get a bit nervous, but he's done this before. He's been well behind and then he's come through and won. So you've always that little hope that he's going to do things.
We spoke before the match, Kevin, and I must say you struck me as being very, very nervous.
To be honest, I wasn't too bad. I wouldn't say I was nervous, but I got off to a bad start. It must have looked that way on the television.
Well, 9-0 without scoring for 6 ends is a bad start,
ideal,
that's for sure.
Yeah.
What were you feeling at 9-0 down?
Just hoping I'd get one. It was, as soon as you get one, you can settle down a little bit, especially if you lead a good one the end after. I was feeling actually, I didn't. John got straight back in, and it was really uphill after that, just thinking.
What's he like to play, John? A very excitable character.
He is. I'm a good friend of John's anyway. We know each other on the circuit, so as soon as we heard the draw, we had a laugh about it. We played each other that night actually when we heard the draw. So yeah, he's a good lad, John. I feel a bit sorry for him because he could have gone a long way in it, but my first time in it, could have made the most of it.
I don't know whether you've been asked this before today, but did Kevin take up bowls of his own accord, or did you encourage him to do that?
No, I think with bowling in the family, Kevin, we used to take him when he was in the pram, what have you, and he sort of joined in. He used to run on the green and pick the jacks up and play with 2 or 3 jacks, and gradually it just grew from there. And he was about 11 years old, and he was offered a game in one of the local teams and took it, and he's never looked back.
And here you are now at 8-1, Kevin, to win the Bass Masters.
well, one game at a time, isn't it?
Which is the next one? Have you even looked that far?
It's the winner of Ian Wright and Diane Hunt. They're due to play now, so...
Yes, we'll be able to see how that one goes a little later on. Thanks very much for joining us, Stella and Ken, and well done, Kevin. We'll see you in the next round. Well done, marvellous day for the Shaw family. Right, we've got the next match, which is down on the green. It has just started between Ken Strutt, who really is due for a major televised win, and G Cookson. You could say the same for Glyn as well. Let's get up to date with the score by joining Roy Armstrong. I think it's Hugh John. Is it Hugh?
Yes, Elton. Thank you very much indeed. As we've left what turned out to be a sure thing, I'm wondering if we've got a sure thing here. Roy Armstrong. What are the odds on this one?
Well, the odds on this game are even money G Cookson and 4-6 Ken Strutt. So the bookmakers were certainly favouring Ken Strutt, but it's going to be a tight match, this.
Well, it is tight at this moment as Strutt strikes and misses. And G Cookson has picked up 2 and stretches his lead to 7-4. This reminiscent, I suppose, of the game in the Bass Masters of 1984, when in the first round Ken Strutt beat G Cookson 21-12. And Kookie looking here this morning to gain some revenge 6 years later. Just failed to make contact with the block, and the running a little bit strong, so he's gone out at the back. G Cookson taking quite a lot off his first delivery, and drops in for 2 at this moment. But the man from Diggle Looks as though he has pinched it. Oh, I don't know. Gosh, that rolled further than I thought it was going to. He saved one. So it's a single to Glenn Cookson. 8-4. The lead of Glenn Cookson off the mat. Cookson lead a little bit long. Ken Strutt, a bowler who knows this Woodlands Green very well indeed. In the Bassmasters, this is his, what is it, his 7th year of competition here. He's played 14 matches, won 8 and lost 6. Never been further than the quarterfinals since he reached the final in 1982, the very first year. Ken Strutt lost that final to Noel Burrows, and since then he's had 4 quarterfinals and a first round defeat. And Cookson picks up another 2, so his lead 10-4. Roy Orbison, I think Ken was one of your favourites for this tournament. What do you think of his game so far this morning?
Well, it's a fascinating tactical battle. These two have played 6 times before, and the score is 3 apiece. And Glyn usually favours long marks, but in this particular game, he's tried a couple of long marks, not succeeded, and now he's playing what we would call a Ken Strutt mark, and he's doing Ken on his own lengths.
That won't please the man from Diggle, who has had an absolutely splendid season, hasn't he?
Yes, Ken's won 7 major tournaments this year. He's certainly been the man in form. In 1989, Glyn was the man in form. Glyn won 8 competitions, but he had a slow start to this season because he sustained some damage to his right wrist. But I think it looks as though he's getting back in the groove now.
I think Ken might just have pinched that one. Yes, he has. Single for Ken Strutt. So he's 5 chalks adrift, 5-10 down. Difference of 20 years in age between these two. Ken Strutt now 52, Glenn Cookson 32. Both of them, of course, bowling for a long time, although Cookson started when he was 11 years old. So he's been bowling 21 years, and Ken Strutt didn't start until he was 26 years old. So the actual bowling experience of these two players is very similar. Oh, yes. Weight looks good. It's won it. Thought I might have just seen a smile on Ken Strutt's face then. Unusual.
Yes, he only usually smiles at 21.
Oh, well done, Cookson. Kooky wondering whether he might have slightly more. Just the one. So away goes the block, and a golden coloured disc bowl, appropriate I suppose for Glenn Cookson, a fervent Wolves supporter. Leave a gap, and away it goes. No legs. Got to be up to count. Now, Ken could pick the block up here and roll it back. No, 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 no. Oh dear, he did get that so desperately wrong. Gosh, that was a bad bowl, Roy.
Yes, this green is a bit of a teaser when you're playing just between the two crowns, and although these lads both play with identical bowls, they both play with 2 pound 11 ounce Lignum Vita bowls, therefore the running's the same. I think Glyn Cookson's bowls are slightly stronger in bias, and it just reflected itself in that last end. But once again, he's playing thumb peg between the two crowns, not much bend in the bowl, about 27 yards, and he looks as though he's got a good bowl going. Just going past a little way.
Will it stay on? Will it stay on? Oof. Very close. Breath of wind then. It very nearly went. Well, the weight is right because that's jack high, but it's quite a distance from the target. Cook has just got inside it, but surely there's lashings of room here for Ken Strutt to get a count. Oh, that is strong. Has it stayed close enough to count?
Okay, Ken. Cookson, one.
No, it didn't stay close enough to count. Another single to Glyn Cookson. (13-5), Glyn Cookson's lead. And again going for these teasing marks, which are causing Ken Strutt so much trouble. Now that's a better bowl. That surely is the winner. Didn't make any contact. So anything, what, 18 inches from the jack, and Ken Strutt would pick up a couple. That looks good enough for two. Yes! Now, where do you predict he's going to go, Roy?
Well, Ken's a great tactician. He'll certainly change it, and he's going up into the scoreboard corner. He's playing finger peg. Must keep his bowl inside the jack here, because anything too low, it'll drift away. Playing about 27 yards, jack very close to the edge of the green.
It looks as though it'll stay out. Little flick of the wrist by Glyn Cookson as he delivered that bowl. Needs to hit something, otherwise he's in the ditch. Yes. Well, that's made life even more difficult now for Ken Strutt. He's got to be strong enough to get inside that yellow bowl, and not enough to go in the ditch, but he's after the yellow bowl. He's found the gap. Cookie doesn't like that bowl. Doesn't like it at all. Might knock himself off. He did, but he stayed with the bowl that had the collision. So he scores a single. (14-7). Glyn Cookson leads. Glyn Cookson, Senior Highways Inspector for the Vale Royal District Council. 14-7 after some 18-19 ends of bowls. As the watery sunshine that we've been experiencing this morning turns into full-blooded sun. The clouds rolling away above the green here at the Woodlands. Green slowly drying out after that early morning rain. Roy, what effect is that having, do you think, at this moment?
Well, it's in really tip-top condition now, this green, and all the downward slopes are getting faster. We saw in that last game that coming down to the crowd, they're slipping off the crown, and Glenn's got a ball here going. It's a really good ball. A foot in front, and the jack's exposed, and Ken's got to go for that. A yard over's the ball here.
It's not going to come back. Lost the road halfway up the green then. I would think that's another two. Frank Kitchen is the referee here. That's one.
There's a chance for two.
Frank fancies two, and so it's a measuring job. Usual sort of thing here. Joe Owen and Frank Lomax. Frank, one to our right at that moment. He plays with the Victoria Club in Stockport. A lot of experience between these two. Frank, chairman of the Stockport District League. Joe, Cheshire's representative on the British Crown Green Association.
Cookson, two!
And their considered opinion is that Cookson has got two. So, Cookie with a 9 chalks advantage, 16-17 in front. 16-7, sorry, 16-7 in front. Cookson a good lead, if he made contact. Ken Strutt trying to find the road in. That curve looks good, looks very good. Just behind and counting. Cookson's road is good. Gives the blue ball a whack, and I think he's pushed it out. Strutt's reply looks short. Walkabout time at the head. Everybody having a look at it from a different angle. What do they decide?
Okay. Cookson, one!
One for Glenn Cookson. Seven, 17. 10 shots in front, Glenn Cookson. That's a good lead ball. Very fair reply. See which one of those two Frank Kitchen favours.
Blue ball.
He likes the blue ball. And from that angle, it looks clearly close, doesn't it? Here's Cookson's second, creeping forwards. Going to pull up short.
I do it for you.
Can looking as though he's got two. No. I think that's gone out. I would say that's just one.
Okay. Strutt, one!
One it is. Well, it's 3, 6, 9, 11 ends. The last 11 ends, Ken Strutt has scored in only 3 of them. A single, a double, and now this single. This is not the Ken Strutt that we've come to respect in the Crown game for so many years. The last 9 years since he won the Olympia. The winner this year of the New World Handicap when he beat Tommy Johnstone 21-20 to qualify for this Bassmasters. Won the Greater Manchester Merit for the 3rd time this year, 86, 88 and 90. Ken Strutt won that tournament, this time beating David Walker out of sight at Swinton 21-8. but
Why don't you just sneak to that?
Strutt struggling here this morning to get to grips both with the green and with Glyn Cookson. Well, this is a very scattered end, a very loose end. As loose as we've had, I think. And the final decision is what? I think that Strutt has got a single here. Well, at least, Roy, the scoreboard indicates that Ken Strutt has scored on 2 consecutive ends.
Yes, he was very fortunate, I feel, to get away with that end. It was a very ragged end, but Glyn Cookson's tactics were such that Ken had very little opportunity to go in any other direction, and he's totally changed the game here. It's coming about 40 yards, thumb peg, between the 2 crowns, very little bend, almost straight at the jack.
That's a fair lead. I think Cookson's beaten it. No, that kiss didn't do him a lot of good. Gone out, says Frank Kitchen. That'll do for 2.
One's 2 feet and one's 2 foot 6.
Cookson will do well to scrape past those 2. No, pulled up short. So 2 for Ken Strutt. 11-17 off the mat. Now, I just wonder if this might presage a real comeback by Ken Strutt.
Ken's playing about 40 yards in the opposite direction, finger peg between the 2 crowns. Once again, not much bend in the bowl, just about a foot of bend, and I think he's got a good bowl going here.
Yes, that's what, a couple of feet short. Take some beating. Hasn't quite got the legs. Just a little nick on the jack and stays for 2. Cookson cannot afford to allow Ken Strutt to pick up a big score here. Got the block and stayed. Yes. That was a very important bowl. 18-11 now, Glyn Cookson's lead. So a little run of 4 consecutive shots from Ken Strutt comes to an end, and Cookson immediately goes back to these shortish marks. Just up over the top of the crown and didn't get anything the other side. It's a push up and hope, really, isn't it, Roy, over there?
Yes, it is, Hugh. It's uphill with a downhill finish, as that bowl of Ken Strutt's has shown, and Glyn's playing these short marks very well. Of course, he comes from a green which is quite small and very good running. The Wharton Conservative green, where Glyn plays in Winsford, is one of the best running greens in the area, and he'll have had plenty of practice at playing these shortish lengths.
Now, is that going to run away out at the back, or does it just stay? Well, there's nothing in it. The yellow bowl is the fancy of referee Frank Kitchen, and the yellow bowl is the one.
Glyn Cookson once again going downhill part of the green, playing thumb peg, bias towards the ditch. Only about 26 yards, got to be very gentle here. Anything past the jack and it'll fly away.
Cookson wanting a good lead here to put the pressure on Strutt, and he's got it. And then Cookson needing 2 to win the match. It's trying very, very hard. And it's a beautiful bowl. And that's a desperately difficult bowl to beat. It's missed all. Well, certainly Ken Strutt's got out of jail here. Thing is, can he get 2? He can, I think. Would you believe it? Put the brakes on when another 4 inches of running would have turned 1 into 2. But he stays alive. 7 shots adrift. 12-19 off the mat. Contact.
Very good contact for Ken. That ball would have gone about 2.5 yards past the jack, and once again they're playing about 40 yards. This is the length that Ken Strutt prefers, and he's made Glyn play narrow with these slightly stronger balls.
Ken really pushing that one out with a fierce right hand swing, and beautifully on for 2 here. Cookson, can he make a contact here? No, he's missed everything. Two more for Ken Strutt. He's still battling. 14-19 the score. Ken, a well-known county bowler for Cheshire, for Lancashire, and for Greater Manchester. And Glyn Cookson, a Cheshire county bowler. Beautiful lead by Ken Strutt. Just scrapes past, and the angle of getting past meant that he couldn't make a full contact with the block. Got a little nick on it, but wasn't able to carry it. Hang on, says Frank, let's get this sorted.
And although Ken Strutt is a very fine player, my experience of Ken is he's not too good of a judge, and he could be a little bit out here. So Glyn's going to have a look for himself, and just a cursory glance, and Glyn's made his mind up. Very important for him, because if it's only 1, he'll strike at that bowl.
Well, if he can get rid of the blue bowl, which is short, that's the one to the right of the jack as we look at it. If he can get rid of that, he might get the 2 that win the match. And indeed, that's what he's after. Now, does he make contact? No. So now, what does it make up to? Now we can have a look at how close he did get. That bowl just to the right of the jack as we look at it is what he's after. and he missed it by quite a distance. And it's walkabout time down there as they look all the way around before deciding that Strutt, Ken Strutt, has got a single out of that. 15-19. Ken Strutt, the sort of bowler that stays hanging in there by the fingernails right to the bitter end. It's not a bad lead, that. Oh. Again, that's another 40-yard mark, Roy, and it was a cracking lead, wasn't it?
It certainly was, and it was very clever use of the jack by Ken Strutt. He's sent it about 2 yards further, and he's very close to the edge of the green, and he's caught Glyn out. Glyn's played well past.
Well, if Ken picks up another 2 on this end, we're in for a grandstand finish. But Glyn has other ideas. Oh, well, there's the 2. And he's got to have a bang at this. Any sort of a contact on the bowl closest to the jack, and the jack will go in the ditch. Here he comes, here he comes, here he comes. Oh, would you believe it? I was certain that that ball would knock the jack. He takes the blue ball out, and it's a single to Ken Strutt. Single, 16-19. I can see how I felt certain that if he hit that blue ball that's right on the jack would belt forward, but the angle there, you see, it just knocks it sideways, leaves the one blue ball to count. Three shots. 3 shots the difference. Ken Strutt 16-19, and he's come back from, where were we? 7-17. So he's outscored 7-16. 7-16. He's really come back strong since then. Now then. Ken got that one wrong. Does that give Cookson a chance? He's sent it out on a very wide bit of land. Now it's a big dip in. That's the one. Well, at least it beats the blue ball. Strutt again, pushing that out wide. No, that's gone out. Now, Cookson can win the game here. He's holding one. Now, this the important bowl. Now the bias beginning to take over and swing it down. No, that stayed out. The chances were there. That didn't seem a difficult end to score 2. He only got the 1. 20-16 is Glyn Cookson's lead now. 5 shots. Run of Ken Strutt comes to an end. And Cookie wants a perfect lead to this block. Finger peg now asking the bias to take over. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Just curls round behind and drops down as tidy as you like. Is that the match-winning bowl? Or can Ken Strutt do something about it? He's trying very hard. This brilliant ball. No, he's got it wrong. Ken Strutt, can he get 2 out of this now? His first bowl was magnificent. His second is... Oh! Well, I wonder. Cookson has a look down, but I don't think he's done anything. Well, I don't know. Yes,
Measure,
it's a measure.
please.
It's a measure, but Frank Kitchen, I noticed, pulled the yellow discs out of his pocket, and Frank Kitchen is a very good judge. So when these two markers come out, the chances are the yellow bowl is going to be counted the winner, and G Cookson will be the winner. But I think it might be interesting, if we could, to have a look at that last bowl of Ken Strutt. He was so eager to try and get two here that the touch that he made on that block may have shifted it just close enough to the yellow, that's the one they're measuring now, to turn it into the match winner. And that would be a desperately disappointing way for Ken Strutt to go out of the competition.
Okay, Ken.
There's the handshake. That was the measure. And Ken Strutt has, to a certain extent, destroyed himself with that last bowl, because he goes out of the competition with G Cookson the winner, 21-16. Well, we'll be having more live bowls back here at the Woodlands in a moment from now.
More and more people are turning to products made with NutraSweet, the remarkable sweetening ingredient with the sweet taste you love. So, when you're looking for great taste, make sure you look for the NutraSweet Swirl.
How do you get ultra white without boil washing? New Daz Ultra, the most powerful Daz ever.
Malcolm's got terrible feet. You can see how awful his socks get, especially after fishing. I was amazed how white they came out.
Did you boil wash them?
No, it was Daz Ultra.
New Daz Ultra's high energy booster means a strip stained in tea gets only this white without the booster, but ultra white with Daz Ultra.
The kids do karate on dirty wooden floors. Their kit comes back smelly and grimy. I'm amazed how white it comes up.
You boil wash them, right?
No! Daz Ultra.
For a white you could almost mistake for boil wash white. New Daz Ultra, at a price that's right.
After 90 minutes of sheer hell, you're gonna get thirsty. This is new isotonic leukocyte support. It gets to your thirst fast. Isotonic means it's in balance with your body fluids.
A step-by-step guide to quality prints. 1. Take a holiday. 2. Capture those unforgettable moments. 3. Come home, needing a holiday. 4. Enter boots and hand over film. 5. Kill an hour while our experts do the rest. 6. Collect hand-checked prints. 7. Impress your colleagues. If you want quality prints developed in an hour, step into Boots.
I'm not in at the moment, but if you wish to leave a message after the tone, I'll get back to you.
New Golden Wonder Crisps. Our best ever crisps in our biggest ever bags. You must have another. Please yourselves. Best ever crisps, biggest ever bags.
The film is in the flowers. 1 hour.
Welcome back. More bowls shortly with Diane Hunt. But first of all, a teaser for you. What have Patsy Fagan, the snooker player, Bernhard Langer, the golfer, and Eric Bristow, the darts player, and Mike Leach, the bowler, all got in common? Well, they all suffer from an affliction which is known as the yips. Now, if you don't know what the yips is, Mike, I know you're only too keen to tell us.
Well, yes, I'm hoping I don't still suffer from it, but I have suffered from the bowler's equivalent of it anyway. Unable to release my bowl. Struggling, I just couldn't, not that I couldn't send them properly, I couldn't send them at all.
Now, how did that manifest itself?
Well, I would be standing on the green, wood in my hand, trying to deliver, and I just could not force the bowl out of my hand.
Just roughly, I know you don't want to actually reproduce it because it might, you know, bring it back, but just for the viewers, if you can just show roughly what was happening.
I would be standing there and I'd be intending to deliver, and I'd stop and stop again and just not send it.
I mean, it must have been awful.
Dreadful.
Terrible experience, especially with people watching.
Well, the worst time was when the crowd started to count out loud how many times I didn't send it.
And how many times could that have been?
11, 12 sometimes, without actually delivering the bowl.
So how did you go about trying to cure it, Mike?
Well, basically I packed in competitive bowling because I assumed obviously it was all to do with the pressure of competitive bowling. I just tried to play a bit more for fun, and dropped out of the scene for a couple of years. Then tried to make a comeback, and slowly but surely I've been getting it right.
What do you think the reason was? Why do you think you suffered in the first place?
Well, I've no absolute answer to that. Perhaps a combination of pressures, a lack of confidence perhaps at bowling at the time, just felt that I wasn't playing quite as well. Didn't want to send them if I wasn't sure I was going to send a good wood. Might well have been connected with business pressures, but a combination of all those things, I think.
Did you go and see a psychologist or anything like that?
I had a very brief session with a hypnotherapist, which I have to say I would recommend. I only went once, not because I didn't believe in it, but I just didn't have time to go anymore, and I decided then, well, I'd just let time take its course and see what resulted.
Do you live in fear of it returning at any time?
Well, it's always in the back of your mind. I think the golfers reckon that once you've had the yips, you've got them.
And you certainly can't use a Sam Torrance putter.
No, there's no mechanical aid that I can take. It's in the mind, and if it comes back in the mind, then it'll be a problem again.
I mean, for example, this afternoon you're playing against Brian Duncan. Now that's going to be a big pressure game. I mean, would it be more likely to return on an occasion like that?
Not necessarily, because
try to will it on you.
Yeah, no. Sometimes the more the pressure is on in a game where you're favourite to win. Now, perhaps this afternoon, I certainly won't be the bookies' favourite to win. I can be sure of that. So perhaps there's less pressure on me. It used to happen in league matches sometimes.
Camera over there. Show us the Leach delivery.
As it now is.
The new Leach delivery.
Well, the delivery's not changed. I just send them now.
Is it a different? What we're going to see now? Is it different to the way you bowled before you got the yips?
Not intentionally. No, it's the same delivery. It's just that it doesn't stop halfway.
Okay, well, you go. Imagine you're playing Duncan.
Right.
And there's absolutely nothing in your mind or nothing physically that when you delivered that ball almost prevented you from releasing it? Then?
No, not then.
Good.
But there used to be.
Well, we hope it never returns.
Thanks very much,
indeed, Michael, and we'll see you this afternoon. Best of luck against
you.
Brian Duncan. Well, now Diane Hunt's game, the latter stages against Ian Wright. Di, in fact, well behind in the match as we join our commentators, who are Brian Bredd and Roy Armstrong.
And now 18-6, the advantage to Ian Wright. We don't know too much of Ian Wright around the circuit, Roy.
Well, to be fair, Brian, I know most players, but I've never come across Ian Wright before. I know he's won 2 competitions in the Liverpool area, and I've played on the green that of the Walnut Tree, the one that he won, which is a difficult green. But I think Di Hunt here now is she's decided to opt for shorter lengths, minimise the error, and I think it's a very wise decision.
Yes, when you talk to the ladies who have appeared in the competition and they've all gone out first time up, then you talk to them and listen to them, and they all say the same thing. If only I had another chance, I know what I'd do. I wouldn't let the nerves get at me. I'd take no notice of the crowd and the situation. I'd play my normal game. But nobody, as yet, among the ladies has got a second crack at the bass. So she's certainly lying with 1, may well be 2.
2 would be very nice. 18.6 at the moment she trails. Ian Wright hoping this bowl can work for him and that he's got the running, but he's not. It's pulled up. She counts again. Another single. So now she stands on the footer and thinks about it and thinks about squaring the green. Diane Hunt 7, right 18 off the mat. This looks sensible, Roy, but she's certainly shortened the game. Is she going to square the green? I don't know.
Well, she's playing thumb peg, round peg, but it's a very short jack. But there'll be no objection for a length, I don't think, because that bowl's 5 feet over. Not a good lead. Coming to a fast part of the green here.
Yes, they have to be at least 19 metres footer to the jack. And if there's an objection, it has to come after the first bowl is bowled. This one, a strong yard through, so there was no complaint from Ian. This one she's left short. Good chance for 2. That's her mistake, the big mistake. 1 over, 1 short. She gets away with 1, she'll do well. Take the winner out, that's 1 to Ian Wright. Well, they're just way up the other 2, just the 1, she's got away with that. But that 1 is to Ian Wright, and it means he's really 1 end from home. He's 2 points away from victory. Ian Wright, 19-7. And he's changed it, Roy.
Yes, he's gone back into his corner, playing thumb peg about 27 yards. And just thinking about the question of nerves, Brian, I think one thing that the ladies are mistaken about, they think that they are the only ones that are subject to nerves at the Bass. But really, if you speak to the fellas and they're honest, even Brian Duncan has nerves. They all suffer.
Well, I think so, and I think possibly the men who are playing the ladies suffer more than most. I know Alan Shacklady said to me after beating Mildred Green, my goodness, I'm glad that's out of the way. I'd rather have played Duncan. He said. Right. Ian Wright, holding 1, looking for 2, for the 2 he needs for game, but die with the last bowl at this end, the 24th end. Yes, he's gone there for 2, coupled up nicely. She's got to stop this count, otherwise she goes the same way as all the ladies in the Bassmasters have gone. The first round lose. Give this a chance. Give this a chance. Needs the jack. Unlucky. Run out. Wade in. And that's it. That's game. A brave effort from the lady, but again, only 7 points. It really was easy for Ian Wright. The nerves may well have told in the end. A convincing win. Ian Wright, 24 ends. A good winner. 21-7. Ian Wright beats Di Hunt.
So still no lady has reached the second round in the Bassmasters. They've been playing, it's the 3rd year now that they've been playing in this major tournament. Gary Wallis has joined us again. Just briefly, we can look forward to this afternoon. Some splendid games. Michael Leach I've just been talking to against Brian Duncan. And I think just about the pick of the first round games, Gary, your match against the reigning champion Martin Gilpin. Have you been preparing this year as thoroughly as you did last? Well, when he beat you, of course, in the second round.
Yeah, he beat me in the second round 21-17, and I've never beat Martin. I've played him 5 times, and I've been on the receiving end all 5. Although I've had 2 20s, a 19, an 18 and a 17, the games have always been tight, but it's always had the upper edge. So this year I decided to watch last year's video. I videotaped the game and tried to see if I could see anything in the game that I felt in my own mind that lost me it. Saw 1 or 2 things that may help me. This afternoon will obviously be the test of that.
Have you ever done that before?
Never. No, never done it. I did it for the first time. With having lost 5 times to him, it bothered me a little whether I was playing to his strengths and not my own strengths, or if I could expose a weakness in his game. And like I say, I probably saw 1 or 2 things that may help me, and we'll wait and see.
It's been a good morning's play, hasn't it, here today?
Exceptional. You know, the game between Kevin Shaw and Bancroft has really lifted the crowd. Bancroft the entertainer, Kevin Shaw got away to a bad start but was terrific in his response.
Well, out there at the moment, Gary, we've got the last of the ladies in the first round, Joyce Foxcroft against David Webb. It certainly has proved to be a little bit much for them this year so far. That's not trying to wish any ill against Joyce.
No, I've only played David the once, and I've never come across Joyce, although she won the Isle of Man the same as Kevin Shaw, and obviously she'll be hoping to emulate Kevin and progress to the next round. Again, she'll be under pressure knowing that no lady has won so far, but if she can settle down and play some good ball, she could be in with a good chance.
What about David Webb?
Steady player in the Midlands, doesn't travel out of the area, and so it's to the crowd watching, they will be surprised. They'll not have known David Webb, and he'll be a surprise package to everybody. I think with a bit of luck he could go a long way.
Right, well, the first thing we'll be doing this afternoon is actually bringing you the result of this match. At the moment it's 2 across, so let's just have 1 or 2 further thoughts before we close this morning from Roy Armstrong and Brian Brett.
Yes, well, she has started well, Elton. She got off to 2 winning ends and led 2-0, but then David Webb has come back with a couple, and they're all square at 2-2. Joyce, Roy Armstrong and myself have seen winning the Isle of Man competition, and we were impressed with her attitude and her dedication. She's left-handed. She's a tough competitor. Roy, we say she has a chance, but I mean, they've all got a chance on here if she can settle. What thoughts have you got on her?
Well, like you, Brian, I watched Joyce in the Isle of Man, and I watched her play on the greens at Nobles Park, in particular the number 2 green, which is quite a big green, and she acquitted herself very well. She played 55 yards, 60 yards, but she was playing against a lady, and it's just a case of getting that barrier down. Although she's playing against a fella, she's not badly drawn, because as Gary Wallis said, David Webb is virtually an unknown in the north of England. Obviously done well in winning the Midland Masters, but she could have drawn a much harder player than David Webb.
That's right, she could. In fact, she's letting herself down a little bit over the last couple of ends, because she was 3 yards over with a lead, 2 under with the second bowl, and when she gets there she'll be fortunate to find it's counting only 1 against her. But she is a good bowler, is Joyce. We wish her well. We hope she can just get the little bits and pieces of luck that go around this game. David Webb, a bit of an outsider too for the tournament, but he will try and stretch into the corners, and that will not trouble Joyce Foxcroft. She's a strong lady, good left-hander, but 3-2 at the moment. David's advantage could have been more. We really hope she can settle. So right into the corners, David Webb.
Well, a marvellous morning's play here at Ellesmere Port. We're going to have to leave you now. We'll be back at 5-2 with the outcome of this match and some more really splendid encounters to come, I'm sure.
Entertainment for Friday evening on Granada. At 7, Les Dennis returns with Family Fortunes, first of a new series which promises to live up to its title, Lucky for Some. At 7:30 in Coronation Street, Alf has reason for regret.
We will have to see each other every day. You've made it harder for Ken and harder for Tracy, so just do me a favour, Alf. Next time you feel like playing marriage guidance, pick on somebody else.
At 8, Ray Brooks as Eddie Weary leads A Double Life.
What are you doing tonight?
Making love to somebody tall.
Terrific. People think my social life must be 100 octane. Do you know what my social life is?
No.
It's unleaded.
But high-powered. At 10:40, Waddington Village Television, the story of an experiment in local television, by a community and for a community, a show that everyone watched. Discover the inside story among the programme highlights for Friday evening here on Granada.
For our younger viewers next, Second-Hand Tales tells of troubled times.
Haven't you gone yet?
Are you trying to get rid of me?
No, of course not.
You're up to something. I can tell. Come on, out with it.
I'm making a Nescafe commercial.
On your own? But we always do them together.
Not this one, Richard.
Why not?
It's about those precious moments when everyone's gone out for the day, and I can enjoy my Nescafe in peace.
Oh, can't we both enjoy it?
No.
Nescafe. Coffee at its best. Couldn't I just stay for the bean shake?
Night. Night.
New, longer-lasting Sure for Men.
at the end of the day, it won't let you down. When you know cats, you know that some prefer one thing and some another. In tests, Whiskers is the most preferred cat food. Now there's new best quality ever Whiskers. It's more chunky and more succulent. Your cat will tell you it's the most enjoyable Whiskers ever. New best quality ever Whiskers. Our best just got better.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. Most enjoyable. That's no problem at all, but... I've lost my wallet.
Morning fresh.
That'll do nicely.
The super concentrated formula of Morning Fresh simply cuts through grease. It freshens your kitchen and lasts a long, long time.
What's all this?
Service truck.
Super concentrated Morning Fresh. Don't wash up without it.
I'm not in at the moment, but if you wish to leave a message after the tone, I'll get back to you.
New Golden Wonder Crisps. Our best ever crisps in our biggest ever bags. You must have another. Please yourselves. Best ever crisps, biggest ever bags.
This football is made from the world's toughest leather. Fortunately, so are these shoes. Kid-proof from
Welcome back to the Bassmasters. The reigning champion, Martin Gilpin, is with us this afternoon. But he might not be with us for much longer. He's trailing Gary Wallis by 17 chalks to 13. In fact, I think there's been another alteration to the score as we join commentators Brian Brett and Hugh Johns.
Indeed there has, Elton. A couple of very tight bowls on just that last end as you joined us here. And the winner was Gary Wallis, a single. So he's 18-13 in front. Feeling very satisfied with himself at the moment, having lost to Martin Gilpin in the second round last year, 21-17. Martin Gilpin then went on to win the first prize and grab that magnificent trophy, but he's struggling here a bit now. That ball's in the ditch. And Gary just dropping that one in. Well, it's counting two at the moment, but surely Martin Gilpin can split those two. Gosh, he's got some weight. He needs to hit something. Needs to hit something. Oh no, flying out at the back. That's two more. Two more to Gary Wallis. 20-13, all but 13. And this would be a tremendous day, wouldn't it, Brian, for Gary Wallis?
Yes, it would.
He was saying earlier that he's never beaten Martin Gilpin.
That's right. In 5 games, Martin has managed to win the lot against against Gary. But the highest, or the lowest score has been 21-17, so they've always been close, Hugh. But this is some break, isn't it, by Gary? It's, what, it's 9 over 6 ends from 13-11 down to 20-13 ahead.
Yes, it's a very, very bright piece of consistency by Gary, who really takes things very seriously. He studied the video of his defeat by this man, Martin Gilpin, last year. He's been studying it very closely, trying to find whatever errors and faults he made in that game. Well, he certainly seems to have learned something from it. Because Martin Gilpin is feeling the pressure. And here he comes again, Gary. Right on the button. This to stay alive. It's gone way, way out. No, that's the end of it. The handshake will come now as Gary Wallis marches through into the second round. He's done the champ. Martin Gilpin will not retain his Bassmasters trophy. 21-13, Gary Wallis marches on to the second round and is looking very, very sharp indeed. Feel that he might just have all the qualifications, all the experience of this green now to march into the final. He very nearly did in '88, if you remember. He led David Richardson in the semi-final there, 15-4, but finally went down 18-21. But, well, it's early days to think about Gary Wallis in the final, but at least he's got over that first round, putting out the champion.
There we are, Gary Wallis beating Martin Gilpin for the very first time. The second round will be starting shortly. No ladies through from the first round. Sadly, that's really been the story for the past 3 years. A lot of discussion today and yesterday whether they should be involved at all. It really is a very interesting talking point indeed. Joyce Foxcroft was their last remaining hope, but an interesting talking point, as I said, for Roy Armstrong and Mary Ashcroft, who was actually refereeing Joyce's match against David Webb to take up. Roy.
Thanks, Elton. Well, Mary, the ladies have had their moments during the course of the last 2 days, and we can see Joyce Foxcroft in play here against David Webb. The facts are, though, that in the last 3 years, no lady has survived the first round. What do you think the answer is?
Roy, I find it very difficult to give you a really good answer. I mean, but it's time, it's experience.
I know what you mean, Mary. Yeah, as a player, I know it's pretty tough down there, but there must be something, I think, that the ladies can do. What do you think? I mean, is it a question that nerves? We've been speaking about nerves this week, and the bowling green can be a very lonely place down there when you're struggling. But what do you think?
It is a lonely place, I'm sure it is, on the green. But Roy, that girl this morning played some really, really good bowls. She really did. She played well. It was just that one or two instances where I felt that she went probably to the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yes, I know what you mean. I've seen her play in the Isle of Man, and she has no problems about playing in the corners. But obviously, the more ladies play against men, the better they will become. But how about reversing the roles, and how about letting the fellas enter some ladies' competition?
That's a tricky question, Roy. Don't you think the men have enough competitions?
Oh yeah, they do. Well, now this looks like what could possibly be the last end.
Oh dear.
David Webb has led a bowl here. Now it's about five and a half feet off the jack, and Joyce, unfortunately, she's fallen in the trap. She's been short there. Now, you know the old saying, never up, never in. And here's David again now. He's playing his second bowl. If he puts one near the jack, she's in trouble. Let's see what he does. Here it comes now. He's running after it. I don't think he's an awful lot further.
No, he isn't. If I remember this end, he was quite well short.
He's 6 feet short.
Yes, and he gave Joyce quite a lot of room. And I thought that this is your chance, Joyce. Come on, show what you're made of. But unfortunately, on this particular end, she just did not give her bowl enough land. He played against a hand with, you know, with a little bit more land, it could have been a winning bowl. But she was just very unlucky at that end. Very unlucky.
Thanks to Mary Ashcroft and Roy Armstrong. They had a very interesting discussion and one that's been shared and debated all round the green these past couple of days. And Gary Wallis, a victor, of course. We'll talk about his match in a moment. But you were saying yesterday you're a supporter of the women's cause. You'd like to see them in these tournaments.
Yeah, I do. I think they had the sparkle to the game. It's a very hard point for anybody to discuss. You have people in favour and you have people against. I for one, am in favour of them competing. Maybe they need to enter a few mixed handicaps before they come here, because they're used to playing amongst themselves, they're not used to playing the men, and maybe the atmosphere is a bit much for them to come straight in. But I personally believe it's good for the game, good for the image of the game, and good for viewing.
You must be very happy to have beaten Martin Gilpin for the first time in your career and reached the second round, especially, you know, considering he put you out of the tournament 12 months ago.
Yeah, I think it wasn't a classic by any means, but both Martin and myself knew we were under a lot of pressure. Martin as defending champion, me never having beaten him before. 1 out of 6 ain't very good, but I've just won the one that mattered. I'm pleased, I'm delighted to be in the next round, and hopefully I can continue from now on and have a good run in the tournament.
You were telling me this morning that you know, you studied a video of last year's match. How did that actually benefit you this time, if at all?
Well, towards the end it did benefit me. In my own mind I'd set myself to play across the green where I finished off, although when I tried early in the game, Martin kept beating me. I kept persevering, knowing that if I could put up a good lead, maybe it would be the difference in the game. And as it happened, I think Martin lost his length both ways, and fortunate for me, I managed to just sneak in at the right times.
You're preparing very thoroughly again, are you?
Yeah, I'm stopping close by, or I was last night anyway. If I'd have been beat, I might have been on my way back to Doncaster. But I'm happy. We'll be stopping over again tonight. I don't even know I'll play in the next game.
We'll find out in a moment. Actually, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's have a look at how the second round draw pans out. Starting with the top half of the draw, David Copeland will play Tony Poole. Alan Shacklady against the mighty Atom, Tommy Hayes. Ken Armitage against Tommy Johnstone, who played so well yesterday, and Brian Duncan will be seeing his game very shortly indeed against Mike Leach. Just before we look at the bottom half of the draw, Gary, and see who you are playing, a quick word on the top half. It looks to be the tougher of the two.
Yeah, there was a section in there, the second 8 there were all tremendous players, and whoever gets to the semi-final in the bit that Brian Duncan's playing deserves really to win the tournament. But so many times you see, having beat all the supposedly better players, you come up against somebody who's lesser fancied and they may turn the odds. But it is a tough half.
Brian Duncan, as always, the man to beat?
Well, the bookie's favourite, the viewer's favourite, everybody's favourite, and the king of bowls really.
Well, here he is. This is live pictures now. Brian Duncan's game against Michael Leach. Duncan leading by 3-1. We'll get stuck into coverage in just a couple of moments. Tell us what it's like to play this fella, Gary. I mean, is it intimidating when you sort of go into a match and possibly look at his record down the years?
For players like myself, it's a privilege to play somebody who's been at the top for the last 20 years. Personally, I raised my game when I play Brian, and I think it's very hard for anybody to be at the top for 20 years, because anybody playing Brian Duncan raises the game to try and beat him, and it's a pure accolade to the man that he's kept going for so long.
And of course, Michael Leach, his opponent, I was speaking to him this morning and he was explaining superbly well actually how he used to suffer from the yips, and what a terrible psychological effect that had on him. But isn't it good to see him back playing in the majors and having recovered from that awful affliction?
Well, Mike's the informed player at the moment, having just won 3 tournaments in the space of a fortnight. I actually beat him in the final of the North Ashton Village Club to qualify for this tournament, and he was bitterly disappointed having lost in 3 Bassmasters qualifiers. He then went on the following week to win the Fleetwood, and has since won 2 tournaments in a week. He is in form, he's enjoying the game, he's happy with himself. Maybe married life settled him down and he's happy.
Well, let's put you out of your misery and have a quick look at the bottom half of the draw before we join our commentators for that match. Here you are, right at the bottom. You're playing Chris McDonald, of course, a man who won here. He knows all about this green. Just to go through the draw for the second round from top to bottom. Barry Kitson will play Alan Broadhurst, losing finalist 12 months ago. Ian Wright against Kevin Shaw, that remarkable match against J Bancroft, which he won this morning. Glyn Cookson against David Webb. And there we are, McDonald against Wallis. What about that one, Gary?
Well, another past winner, so I've got it all to do again. It should be a good game. We both play well. Bit disappointed to see Gavin Parker not having won the game, because Gavin was my best man at my wedding last year, so there would have been a bit of a nice touch there if we'd have played each other. But looking forward to the game tomorrow.
Okay, well, we're really looking forward to seeing how this game develops now. Brian Duncan, the game's #1, the pre-tournament favourite. He's still the favourite. He won this in '84 against Mike Leach, who's come back so well from the yips. Let's join our commentators, Roy Armson and Brian Brett.
Thank you, Elton. 3-2, the Brian Duncan lead in this, the early stages. The last end. Mike Leach picked up a single, asked for a second, but I'm afraid they couldn't split it on a measure, so it was just the single. Duncan trying to find a way through. What a good bowl. That's the mark of the master. To Brian Duncan. So Brian Duncan, former Bassmaster winner, runner-up, now leads Mike Leach. 5-2. Mike's first appearance here, and glad to see him. He's already won that big one at Burnley St Andrews, where he beat Martin Gilpin in the final. That was the second time he'd done some damage to Martin Gilpin, because he beat him over in the Wye Festival at Fleetwood. 5-2, the Brian Duncan advantage. I don't know if you've had time, Roy Armson, to look at the betting on this. I fancy Duncan on the heat. Certainly he is the tournament favourite.
Oh yes, Brian's 7-4 on for this game, and Michael Leach is 5-4. They have quite a healthy respect for Michael, because, as Gary Wallis was saying, he is the man in form. And I can recall about 12 years ago, these two used to play each other about every 2 weeks. Michael at that time was in the top 3 of bowls.
And he's come back extremely well. No sign of the yips that have affected his delivery. He's back in fine fettle. Picks up another single. That narrows it. So Brian Duncan 5, Mike Leach 3. 5-3. Early days yet. This is typical of Mike Leach, Roy, isn't it? This is a typical Mike Leach mark.
Yes, Michael's playing finger peg, round peg, the bias towards the ditch up the side of the green. He's playing about 27 yards. As you say, a typical Mike Leach mark. He is, in fact, probably the best greenside player in the game. Once Michael gets going, he's really mustard on these sort of lengths.
Well, he loves it, Roy, and he also loves the banter with the crowd, of course. When he's in form, he's a great runner. He chases everything. You don't want to get too close, otherwise referee Frank Kitchen will have a word. And that has dropped terribly short. It's just one, so Brian Duncan, I don't know that he can get at it for any sort of a running shot, Roy.
Yes, he'll play round peg with some weight. Here he comes now, hoping to take this bowl out clean.
Got the jack, and off, and off. Unlucky. The jack will do, I suppose, but he went for the bowl. We stay the same. 5-3, Brian Duncan.
Okay, Mike.
But Mike Leach will set the mark. He set the original mark, he sets this one. The mat or the footer, a metre from the edge, from where the ball went off. And again, he ain't going very far, Mike Leach. This is his game. Just up to the crown and drop. Teasing, tormenting Duncan. Duncan will want to switch to longer marks when he can. Not quite up. Another half yard in the running.
One of the things that interests me about these players, Brian, is that the healthy respect that they have for one another. Although they knew that they were likely to play one another in the second round. I was here on Wednesday when they were practicing, and these two were actually playing in pairs. They were playing in pairs, practicing against one another in the pouring rain.
Oh, it's sparkling stuff already. Single to Duncan. So that little strike was well worthwhile. 6-3, Brian Duncan leads. So Brian Duncan, he's been at the top for 20 years, and he's now based in Preston. Recently moved house, the Lostock Hall area. He's a full-time bowler, Brian Duncan, the only one in the game. qualification several times, but the Waterloo was the first. Since then, he's won several qualifiers. That opens the door for others. And look at the lead. But he's got to play from the middle of the crown, which is where Leach took him. He's led well. Michael just short. 30 years Brian Duncan has been playing, 20-odd years plus at the top. One of the game's runners, patters after the bowls, doesn't want to promote too much. That could have been nasty, he knows it. Michael Leach, the sort of mark, the sort of length he likes. He's trying to play out the bowl and stop. Yes, enough, did enough.
Leach, one.
Yes, single Mike Leach. Spotted the possibilities very, very quickly. Played out the Duncan bowl, counts again, has a quick look round the green, looks at the edge. I don't think there's any doubt where he's going, Roy. He's having a little look around, you know. He's changed it.
Yes, he's trying the other side now. He'll play up the side of the green. He's playing round peg, bias towards the ditch. He's gone a little bit further this time, about 38 yards, just a little bit of bend, and here he is now. Looks like quite a good bowl going.
Well, he likes it because he's halfway up the green, just urging it on another couple of rolls. Not quite as good as he wanted, because he knows he's got to be absolutely at his best to beat Duncan. Just better, improved. And they're on the road in, that's the problem. Now then, this bowl working with the bias. But out of the count, certainly
That's
one.
gone out, yes, you're on.
Duncan won. He's coupled up twice already. Now then, he needs a bit of bias working for him. Not sure, they're going to have a look at this one. Often looks disgusted with his game, Duncan, but he's a perfectionist. I certainly agree on one.
That's second.
A long look. Duncan supporters here in fourth.
Duncan won.
Duncan won, says referee Frank Kitchen. (7-4), and now then the game will change. Be interesting to see, Roy, whether he goes fully in the corners, because in his first round he pulled out of them, didn't he?
Yes, I was actually talking with Brian at lunchtime, and I mentioned this to him, that nobody had actually gone really full in the corners, and he said that he didn't think any of them would do. He himself prefers not to do that, because if he gets in at the corners, it's difficult to get out, because 3 of the corners have a shelf to get down, and it's very difficult delivering the balls out. So he's sticking to 3/4 lengths, hoping to lead well, as he has done in this particular case.
Well, Leach has taken the tip. He's seen the road. He's not quite got the length. You'll be very disappointed with that one.
You're 15-inch off block. It's about 8 or 9
The danger is that if Duncan doesn't get it absolutely right, he could knock in the bowl of Mike Leach. So he's trying to be extra cautious. He's taken a little bit of running out. Now Mike, in fact, can do the promotion for himself.
Yes, I will, Mike.
Right, about what, a foot. If he can knock that bowl, that yellow disc bowl of his, about a foot, he might even try to take Duncan's out, because he's certainly second. Right, he's after it. The fine shot, a mile wide, miles away. Condemned.
Duncan won.
Brian Duncan, another single. That was a wayward strike by Mike Leach. Leaves Duncan with his second successive single. So 8-4 now, and Duncan able to get back to the far corners. He's had his usual share this year of tournament wins. He won 4 in 8 days at one stage. The Chester's Classic, King and Queen Invitation at Warrington, the Matthew Brown Classic, and then the new Atlas Classic at Oldham, all in the space of 8 days. Most bowlers would settle for that in a career. So his lead not right. He looks predictably disgusted. Leach wants to improve. Good road. Still short. He is a good corrector. But not this time. And so he's Duncan very sportingly signals that Leach is on. Room for two, if he can find a way through. No better. Little nudge on Duncan's bowl, it may just have done enough. Yes, one.
I think Michael will look upon that as an opportunity wasted. The bowls were about 5.5 feet off, and normally you would expect Michael to beat those. And here's Brian leaning again on his finger peg mark, about 38 yards, playing with his favourite 2 pound 12 ounce Lignum Vita bowls. A little bit more running in Brian's because Michael Leach is one of those people who favours composition bowls, and his are just 211.
I'm just wondering about the speeds on this green, Roy. Coming to us here, this is below the commentary position. They do look as though they're running reasonably well. But is a push, it seems, going the other direction?
Yes, from where they are now, they have to push it for the first 15 yards. It's all up to the crown, and then once it gets over, as you said, it does start to come downhill. Going in the other direction, it's a very difficult mark for land. You have to be spot on the road, nothing below and nothing narrowed.
Well, has that been a lucky little nudge for Duncan, or has it careered on out? It may well be that the yellow disc bowl on the left-hand side of Mike Leach is on. So Mike Leach, all the way through. Good road, wasted bowl. Running very quickly down the hill. Single, Mike Leach. Stops a little charge from Duncan. .59 off the mat when Mike Leach arrives. His jack. Good to see him back, Roy, because I think Leach is good value. He's a tremendous player, and he's very entertaining.
Yes, I've spent some happy hours with Michael, both playing with him some years ago and talking with him. And in fact, I did encourage him to get out of the yips, and I'm delighted for him. I think he's the last end. You know, he's not read the Brian Duncan philosophy of bowls. Brian Duncan's philosophy is very simple. It's get twos and save twos.
Right, and get to 21 as quick as you can. Duncan better with this one. Loves these curling marks, Mike Leach. Falling marks along an edge. Not right again. He could concede two here. You've got to fancy Duncan for two. Got him. Gift two, gift wrapped. Now there's the gap. Oh, we'd love that one, Duncan, because now he can get over to the far corner. Brian Duncan, Preston, 11.5. Mike Leach, living in the Preston area. Harbour Lane, Walton, 5. 11.5.
Once again, Brian Duncan has stopped the jack well short of the corner. He's something like 8 yards out. Before you come on the downward shelf, he's played a bowl a yard short, but I always think that corner that they're playing into is a particularly difficult one. Playing finger peg, about 42 yards.
Well, I know the players are not too happy with that because they reckon if they just get an inch or so wrong, then they cut away. But it's not clever getting out of that corner. One or two little ridges down there, so they need to find some fairly smooth land to get the bowls away. Duncan holding one, looking for two. 15th end. Good play, good bowls. Now there's this one up. Is it far enough? Passes the first, his own. Passes the second. It's going to win it. Good ball. Cracker. You'll like that one. Now, where are we going? Are we going along an edge again? He's persistent, is Mike Leach. 6-11. He was desperately keen, Roy, to get into the Bassmasters, he was telling me, but he found it a problem. He found it becoming a barrier. And he was watching Steve Backley, the javelin thrower, and listening to him about the 90 metres throw. And Backley said, this is becoming a barrier rather than a target for me. So I'm going to forget all about it and just try and win. And Leachy said, I listened to that. And I thought that was good sense. And he said, I did that, and since then I won a couple. It just helped settle me.
Yes, I remember at North Ashton Village Club where we both took part in the tournament. We were both in the last 16. He said the very same thing to me, and I said, well, although it's been an ambition for me, I've never thought of it as a barrier. And those are two good bowls of Michael's, because he's changed his peg up this side. He's decided to opt for straight peg, bias towards the ground. He's taking a chance, because if Brian gets in, he's back in his corners.
He's got to bowl a very good ball here to get in, hasn't it? Because this really is a nice lead from his nice winning bowl. His second is okay. Duncan is trying. Has he saved? He's not even saved. He's got two. The gamble pays. Good two. Gamble along an edge, because if Duncan wins along the edges, it's into the corners. Just having a bit of a look about this. He's pushed the footer, as they are entitled to, further to the edge, and he's gone along an edge. 8-11 off the mat. The danger here, of course, and how often have we seen this, Roy? This sort of mark, and the opponent's woods fly off the green, because Leach, well, he's too high there, but he's on the green.
I think he's made a mistake with the lead, but I think these are the correct tactics to play Brian on. I think Brian very rarely plays down the side of the green. Having said that, you've got to lead well, because if you don't, that's what he does. He punishes you.
Yep. Crowd love Leach. He plays right in front of them. Trying. Oh, yes! Same bowl call for from Brian Duncan. Play out the winning bowl, but he's wrong. Just got it a shade wrong and off the green. Good one. Pinched another. How long he can continue doing that against Brian Duncan, I'm not sure. But that really was some third ball, Roy, when you think of the pressure under which he sent it.
Yes, it was a perfect ball, wasn't it? Brian's was what we call a good bad one, but Michael had to be on the road and just a foot overplayed. Perfect contact onto Brian's ball, pushes it out and stays.
Good stuff. 9-11. Mike Leach. I think he's dropped it a lot shorter than he intended, a yard and a half. Good opportunity for Duncan here. Is he any further? Just about. Yes, yes. Leach will correct. Wants to find a way through, or a promotion. Oh yes. Not sure that was intended. Always a possibility. Duncan, find a way round. Doesn't want to get too near the edge as last time. Looks all right. Looks all right. Yes, that'll do. Good ball. Good game. Tactics. Leach the short marks, Duncan the long marks. Duncan 12-9 in the corner and heading for the far corner.
Yes, he's changed the peg this time, Brian. Instead of going thumb peg, he's gone finger peg between the two crowns, gone a lot further. This is about 50 yards, all uphill, with a downhill finish the last 3 yards.
Well, that's how he gets into that position, Roy, because that was a nice playback of the bowl that was promoted or cannoned against the jack. Good reply by Duncan. Leach up there, urging the bowl in. Important end. 12-9 at the moment, the Duncan advantage. Wins this as he breaks for home. Can't get up, can it? It has, surely. That's gone in. It's a long, long way back for Mike Leach. He's been up there surveying the damage. It's a long, long mark.
Let's see if he plays the correct bowl now, Brian. 4 foot over's the bowl. Reach up on his own or push Brian's out.
All sorts of possibility. Oh, the little bit of the yips there. He just went into the style and hesitated. Only the once. He got it away with. Getting too much advice from the crowd, and it's affected him because that surely is going to peg away. Yes, just the one. Brian Duncan. So, Brian Duncan gets the one we need. So, 13-9, the Brian Duncan advantage at the moment. We'll be right back. Just give us a couple of moments and then more from the Bassmasters.
How about this for a greasy lot of washing up? So I thought you lot could do it today. Okay, everyone, so we'll test Fairy against the best of these well-known brands, all right? To start with, both do well. But after a while, it's a different story.
Greasy.
But Fairy keeps on cutting through the grease. So just look how much more Fairy can do. Because when grease beats the rest, the best keeps going.
Doobie-doobie-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, doobie-doobie-doo, doobie-doobie-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-da. Oh, doo-doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo.
All you need at the right price. Do it all. We make doing it a doddle.
Oh, do leave off, Nigel.
This week, the Sunday Express starts part 1 of the Good Antiques Guide. Invaluable for anyone interested in antiques, it features extracts from Miller's new price guide. Antiques are better expressed in the Sunday Express.
I'm not in at the moment, but if you wish to leave a message after the tone, I'll get back to you.
New Golden Wonder Crisps. Our best ever crisps in our biggest ever bags. You must have another. Please yourselves. Best ever crisps, biggest ever bags.
13-9 to Brian Duncan when you left us, but now the man is opening up, full throttle. He lost the next end to Leach, a single point, but since then, 2 consecutive doubles. 17-10. Brian Duncan heading for home, looking good, but Mike Leach playing extremely well. The turning point probably a couple of ends ago where Duncan ran the jack to count 2 when there were 2 lying against him. He's in the corners, he's playing well. He looks a bit keen, Roy. We've seen him earlier in the competition looking sharp. He's maintaining that form, although Leach is really playing very well.
Yes, Michael's done very well, but I think Brian looks as though he's in confident mood. He's gone further with the jack here, gone further into the corners. The jack is actually perched on the edge of the shelf, and Michael Leach has played a really good bowl. He's only about 18 inches off.
Yes, that's going to take a lot of beating. Duncan's given it a chance, you can tell, because he suddenly pulls up. Not right, gone out, slaps the thigh. 17-10, his advantage. 1 here to Mike Leach. You're just an inch or so off the land, they slip back, which is just what Brian Duncan is explaining. As Leach comes in for 2. 2 good 2s. 2 good ones.
That's a good sign, because it's the first time, in fact, Brian, that Mike Leach has taken his opportunity of getting 2. He's missed 2 previous chances, but those were 2 very good bowls. And now it's a tactical change again for Michael. But green side again, very good ploy. Going a little bit further up this side. He's playing finger peg, straight peg, rise towards the crown. Is the jack going off?
Yes, a bit too strong. What a mistake. Jack off now then. Is that a costly error? Leach has stuck to the edges, as is his game. Duncan has gone over the crown. 17-12. Brian Duncan will set the mark, and he's cut across the green. Mike Leach will play to it. Well, he's a good length bowl. Brian Duncan, 46-year-old full-time bowler, self-employed. This time he's well short. Leach flying after this one. This brings the referee into things to make sure he doesn't get within a metre. That's a good bowl. That's within a couple of inches of the jack. Duncan very quickly away, very quickly after it. Has got to be up, he's got to save. It's limping along. He must save. At least. Tough.
Leach, what?
So Mike Leach narrows it again. From 17-10 to 17-13. And off they mat 13-17, Mike Leach. 43-year-old solicitor. Been bowling since he was about 4, he says. Grandfather taught him to play and taught him very well. Well, it's counting. It worked hard for him there because it looked a shade narrow. Mike's first win was back in 1970 when he won the News of the World, first major win. That was at the Empire Services, Preston. Great bowling haunt. Leach again. Wants to find a way through. Aye, aye, they shout, and with some reason, but it's gone out. Duncan is on. Ilwadik just confirming the distance. The danger being the short bowl right in the road is Leach's. So he's gone the long way round. He's gone the scenic route. Now if that's got some running, which it hasn't, it had a rather nice road. Just the single. Can't quite get it. Yes, another one, Brian Duncan. It's Duncan away again with the jack. 18. Mike Leach, 13. Mike Leach's favourite green, Burnley St Andrews, and I don't think Brian Duncan would argue too much about that. What is clear is this is not one of Mr Duncan's more favourite greens. The woodland has presented him with problems over the years. Former winner and a runner-up, but look at that, he's getting to grips with it now, Roy.
He certainly is, yes. If he keeps on like this, he might get to like it.
Well, 18-13, Mike Leach charging after that ball, urging it forward and forward. Has he done enough? Has it worked? No. Not quite enough. What has he got? Is he kidding us? Which is one? That is one, whatever that is. I think he was trying to kid us.
Yes, Mike Leach is in. It's one of his old ploys. He slaps his thigh as if he's missed it, and then he puts his hand up. All in good fun.
Oh yes, of course. Unlucky Brian. Now then, Mike wants to see the danger, doesn't he? Because that was a good bowl. He's holding one. He can't afford to make any mistakes.
Yes, Mike's gone up to have a look, which is something he does quite often, and it's really something he's developed with his flat green play.
Yes.
He plays an awful lot of flat green bowls, Michael, and I know there is a school of thought amongst crown bowlers that if Mike Leach was to take up the flat green game full time, he'd be a very, very fine player.
He's had some success certainly in pairs, I know, and he's a regular member of the Lancashire side. Now then, he's just going off to give the glasses and the eyes a bit of a wipe. It is hot work out there, although the day's a bit breezy. It's stayed dry, fortunately. But it's not easy wearing glasses. So it's been something like over a minute since he played his last bowl. He might have lost the feel of the green, the lie of the land, but he's certainly holding one. That's quite a break for a crown green bowler. They like to play quickly. Well, he might just have been having a little bit of a ramble with that one.
Okay, Brian.
Settles for the one.
Leach, one!
Yes. Just a single. Mike Leach, 14 against Brian Duncan's 18. And this time, another edge. He's not used this edge, Roy, yet.
No,
Nobody has.
He's very clever, though, isn't he? You know, he's trying all different kinds of things with Brian, which is what you've got to do. He's playing straight peg up the edge, and this is a crucial end because Michael must count this end. If Brian gets in, he's in a game position for the next end.
Yes, if you let Brian Duncan settle on any piece of land, he will read it better and play it better than anybody in the game. Still, Leach holding one. Just a little hesitation on the mat, not the yips. Looks a good road. What about the length? All right, holding two. Needs them. 18, 14. Now Duncan. That's a good road. Got the gap. Oh. Right, what a good two, because that could have been a very nasty situation if Mike Leach had not picked up points at that end. As it is, the gap narrows. There's two in it. Leach setting the mark, 16. Brian Duncan, 18. Sticking to the edge. He can afford to go back along there. Bit of rough land to the right, but he's playing in a nice area of grass. Good turf there. Go on, it's not far enough, and they know it, Roy.
Yes, the feature of this mark, it's much heavier going this way. It's about 2 to 3 yards slower. And Michael's fallen in his own trap, but will Brian pass it?
Well, he's followed him. He's done exactly the same thing. Happens invariably when you follow your opponent's bowl. If that's short, you're short. Now then, is there room for Leach to get through? 2 bowls ahead of the jack. Trying, yes, got round it. And holding 2. And Duncan has got really to stop the count here. Could do with a nudge, could do with getting further than that. Enough! Yes! Oh, he needed that.
Here's Brian now going finger peg underneath our commentary position, and once again he's sent the jack a little bit further than hitherto. He's close on 52 yards here, just perched on top of a source which is just below our commentary position here. And the feature of this mark is not to get too low. The bowls slide against the bias all the way.
Well, he's not bad there, Roy. He's not bad at all, because the jack in fact has now toppled over and is lying in a bit of a hollow. 19-16, Brian Duncan leads. His road looks good, he likes this. It's got to stop. Whoa, they shout, because they do run, and it's run out. Looked a good bowl, run out, shake of the head. Duncan needs to. Got to stop this one. Looks all right, looks all right. Doesn't want to skate any further. He holds two.
And it's very difficult for Michael here, because anything past and it'll go right the way down. It'll go about 5 feet past. He's got to reach.
I'll tell you what, Roy, that is flying, that is motoring. He's got to have a hit or he's out. That is off the green. Oh, Michael Leach overplayed it. He's left two. He's left two for Brian Duncan to get out of this one. And Brian Duncan really is a relieved man, because Mike Leach has taken him all over the screen. He's taken him along the edges. He's had a little dabble over the crown. Brian Duncan, predictably, typically, has won it in the corner, one of his favourite long marks. He's got out with a double. He's had 1 or 2 doubles. He's had 6 doubles, in fact. And that really is Brian Duncan at his best. He's really had to work at this game, but that's why he's the favourite. He was 3-1. He's just won this one, 21-16 against Mike Leach. And my goodness, to beat Mike Leach, the in-form man, as the crowd knows, that's really something. So, as I say, Brian Duncan, relieved, delighted. He's got through his first 2 rounds. He's on his way, and that's bad news for the rest.
Well, what a very entertaining match indeed, with the favourite, Brian Duncan, going through, and Mick Leach almost coming back at the end there, Mike.
Yes, I just needed to count those 2 at the next to last end to go 18 across, and I'd have had a chance.
Lively match, Brian. Entertaining one for the folks here and everyone at home, I would have thought.
Well, it was really, and I mean, me and Michael have played each other a lot of times, and we understand each other's game, and you know, we enjoy the game.
I think from our conversation earlier about the yips, which you've now thankfully got over, I think people might find it hard to believe that you actually suffered in that way, with that sort of almost psychological problem, because you enjoy the game of bowls so much when you're out there.
Well, that's right. That was what was so disappointing from my point of view, of course, to pack in, because I do love playing, and I love the atmosphere of playing. And I've really enjoyed that game, even though I've lost, because I think we both played very well. We both had to play a lot of woods under pressure.
Tough guy to play, isn't he?
Oh, just a bit, yes. Never lets you count any bad ones, that's the main thing.
Pleased with your form, Brian?
Well, I am really today, especially. I mean, I suppose in the middle of the game I led 1 or 2 bad ones, really, which is understandable, but I thought in general I played all right, really.
Not a great lover of the green down the years, but how do you think he's playing this time?
Well, I think the green is a lot better than it has been in previous years. I'm not saying that because I've played better, but I don't think there's many bumps on, and the balls are running a lot smoother, and I think it's a lot better to play on.
Well, now you're out, Mike. How do you see the tournament? Where's your money going when you get off the green, when you get to the bookies?
Well, I don't think the bookies will have a decent price for Brian now, so I'd be backing him.
It really is taken off, this tournament, hasn't it? It was a sort of fairly slack day yesterday, not too exciting, but all that's changed today.
Been some good games today, yeah. A lot of good games.
Brian, is that going to continue?
We hope so. I mean, the 8 I was in was a very hard 8, and the next game on it, Tommy Johnstone or K Armitage. I mean, it's going to be a hard game again, so just got to keep going and hope for the best.
You always seem to get the tougher side of the draw, don't you?
I do. I've noticed that, Elton. Have you noticed as well?
Yes, I have. Nothing to do with it, though, Brian. Anyway, thanks very much. Very entertaining game between Michael Leach and Brian Duncan, and as Brian said, next on is Tommy Johnstone against K Armitage. You'll be able to see that game right after the break.
When I first started out, I was burdened down with sin. A change in my life needed to be. Now there's a change in the ocean, there's a change in the deep sea, and I really know there's been a change in me. Oh, yes, I really know there's been a change in me.
More and more people are turning to products made with NutraSweet, the remarkable sweetening ingredient with the sweet taste you'll love. So, when you're looking for great taste, make sure you look for the NutraSweet Swirl.
When you're smiling, when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. When you're laughing, when you're laughing, the sun comes shining through.
Wash Dry Electric.
1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, rock. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight.
There are times when only an ooh will do. Sealed in foil, it's a fresher ooh from Typhoo. Typhoo, a fresher ooh. No other tea will do.
You know, the biggest dental problem in adults isn't tooth decay, it's gum disease. And gum disease can lead to tooth loss. But regular brushing with a good toothpaste can help prevent it. And there's no better toothpaste than new Colgate Gum Protection Formula, with a special ingredient that combats gum disease by fighting plaque and tartar, whatever they are. And it gives full fluoride protection. Of course, even new Colgate Gum Protection Formula can't help some people. But it's never too late to start protecting your family. New Colgate Gum Protection Formula for healthier teeth. Bagum.
Oh, yes, I really...
The new people. The price hasn't changed, but we have.
And welcome back to the Bassmasters here at the Woodland Hotel in Ellesmere Port. Brian Duncan, the game's #1, the favourite for this tournament, is the first man through to the quarter-finals. Well, the second round continues this afternoon with Ken Armitage against Tommy Johnstone. Tommy, who played so splendidly yesterday, is taking a good lead here, actually. He's already 3 chalks up, and the game has only just started. We join our commentary team, Brian Brett and Hugh Johns.
Thank you, Elton. Tommy Johnstone set off on winning after winning the toss, set the jack off into this same corner that they're bowling to now, and put his first bowl bang on the jack to pick up a single, came back this way, scored a double. And Ken Armitage hasn't had a bowl anywhere near the target yet. He's looking better with that one, but merely wound up nudging it closer to the yellow bowl. Tommy Johnstone. The form horse in many people's books, alongside the great Brian Duncan. And certainly the way Tommy won his first game against Mark Britton. Well, you had to say that he is got to be feared by the rest of the bowlers in this tournament. Ken Armitage walking up to find out how many he's lost. And it's 2. So that's doubles back to back for Tommy Johnson. A 5-0 lead here. Tommy Johnson is, having seen his game against Mark Britton, he's carrying on just where he left off in that one.
Well, he is. He's in fine fettle this season, Hugh. He's had another tremendous run as Tommy Johnson. Greenall's Open winner, the King and Queen. Major events all over the place, and winning in pairs with his wife, Karen Galvin, as was.
Ken Armitage, who got past Robert Hitchin in a steamroller performance in his first round match. Took out Robert 21-6. Has at last found a good bowl in this match. Tommy could be on, could be. Oh! No, in fact, he's just nudged the blue bowl closer to the jack. It'll be a fine bowl indeed if this becomes a double. And it's not going to.
Armitage, 1.
But a certain amount of relief, I think, showing on the face of Ken Armitage, who has at last got his single. Ken Armitage with the block back in his hand. Long time in the game, and a well-known winner of good competitions, that Lifting Gear Classic, his Bassmasters qualifying tournament. But having set the mark here, Ken was unable to find it with his first bowl. Tommy Johnson is the man holding at the moment. An unlucky collision for Ken Armitage with his first bowl, so he's well short. And Tommy Johnson, time, space to curve around for 2. Don't think he has, though.
Johnstone,
yes, he has.
2.
Yep. So Tommy Johnson on a charge. Bowler who has won the Waterloo. '85 Waterloo winner. And of course he was the runner-up in this Bassmasters here in 1987 against Chris MacDonald.
He was a bit unfortunate in that was the year we didn't actually cover the Bassmasters, Hugh, and in a tremendous final with Chris MacDonald. He got beat 21-16, but it really was a classic.
He's holding 2 here, unless Ken can change the situation. He's going to run out at the back. I think that's 2 more for Tommy Johnson. Ken Armitage has to accept it.
2.
Tommy Johnson, the plumber, 9-1 in front of Ken Armitage. Hey, that road is good again. What a beautiful lead bowl.
It's got to be very, very difficult to beat Hugh, because from our position, and you can see it there, that is absolutely in line and turned over.
Got a touch there. I wonder if he has just nicked a 1/4 of an inch past. Mary Ashcroft, the referee.
I just like the way the blue balls lay.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Tommy
straight.
will go and have a look. Mary Ashcroft, a great character now on these Crown Green arenas. She has said that she just fancies the blue ball, and Tommy Johnstone has a look. Mary, who's been a referee since 1972 and made such a marvellous debut as the First Lady referee in the Bass Masters a year ago, has earned the respect of all bowlers in this tournament.
Organises the Ladies Waterloo as well. Keeps very busy in bowls.
Tommy will not want to touch the blue bowl, and he knows that he can't promote his own. So nothing has changed.
Well, only that you wonder about the wisdom of playing a bowl if he is in fact on Kenny Armitage. It can't be that clear cut.
Yeah, measures,
Looks to me
please.
as though he just saved himself the trouble of carrying that one up there. It wasn't going anywhere.
Maybe. He needed to satisfy himself, and he probably did, because Tommy played the genuine bowl and got it just wrong. But he set off at a charge as he did against Bob Hitchin, hasn't he? He was 9-2 up against Hitchin. 9-1 here.
Just be careful with the blue.
Here are the men who've got to sort it out. And curiously enough, this is a situation, I think, which really does call for a wedge, as is done in the flat green game.
Yes.
Because that blue bowl that they're now measuring is the one that might just topple over. That's the bowl belonging to Ken Armitage there.
They talk about it here all the time, you know, in the Crown Green. You can learn from each other's games, and I think that is an excellent idea.
Well, the slightest touch on that blue bowl now, and it would topple over and make the measure inoperable, basically.
They're having trouble splitting them, you know.
You touching on both?
Touching on both.
Are you on both? Right.
Tighten
you're on
up.
both as the other. No end.
No end, absolutely dead. They couldn't split him. No, couldn't split him. No count at all. So the position stays the same. 9-1 Johnson.
Tommy Johnstone then, a young man who came to the fore in '76 when he was only 16, winning the Greater Manchester under-18s. Has won so many other things. York Eric Rhodes Memorial, and things like the Whitbreads, the Dennis Mercer, and this year the Joshua Tetley, as well as the Greenhorse Open. And Tommy has left his first delivery at this end, right on the target. Ken has beaten it. Well bowled.
Last bowl.
Yes, the second bowl up. That's one of Ken Armitage, blue disc, counting at the moment. But the way Johnson's playing, I wouldn't bet too heavily on that. What about this? Can it just play it out or swing away?
No change.
You've only got to turn him over.
Oh, that took a nasty hook in a bit of rough in the middle of the green. And was never going to come back after that. So, a single for Ken Armitage. Ken, one of the older bowlers in the competition. Just starting off into his 50s. And it was his wife Marion, in fact, who introduced him to the game of bowls. Well,
it's being carried on throughout the family, Hugh, because son Carl, who's just 20, He's a very fine bowler.
Yes, he's been winning quite a few trophies.
He has. Dad Ken says, oh, well, I'll leave it to him now. But Ken's always knocking on the door.
He's been getting to find the green a bit now, after a very dodgy start. Oh, that's changed it entirely.
Johnston, 1.
So Tommy picks up a single, gets the block back, and his lead, 10-2. Finger peck mark. Ball curving down the hill, being assisted by the bias, and runs too far. Does it stay on the green? Difficult to tell whether the spectators hanging over the rails there, so I don't know if that ball is still alive or not. It's certainly not going to count in any way, shape or form. So K Armitage drops his bowl in, and indeed it is the only bowl on the green at the moment. So Tommy seems to have got that one right. Yep. Woo, 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 woo. Good job the blue ball was there. It's like buffers in a railway station. If that stays straight, it might just make it.
Right, Jingo, it never stopped, did it?
Gosh. I think it's there.
Armitage.
Yes, it is.
No more now, Tommy.
A real trickler. K Armitage, 310.
Yeah.
Trying to find a piece of land that Tommy Johnstone is uncomfortable on. Good lead. Oh, that held up beautifully, didn't it? Straightened up, back end of its travel. Thumb peg. If he can get a wick off his own bowl would be helpful. Oh, just missed.
You're on.
That's gone for 2 though, Dag.
Now, Tommy can use that. No, it's going away. Underneath. I was going to say he could use that left-hand bowl of K Armitage's. But he got his line wrong. 11-3, nevertheless, with that single. That's a loose lead. And that's dropped away. This is a nasty piece of land that Tommy Johnstone has set the mark on.
It's a teaser, isn't it? He's got to put enough in it to get it up and over now. But he's got to stop as well. He could just do with hitting that jack. Any time now, thank you. That's 2.
Tommy, the grin on his face that is looking up in our direction, saying that is exactly what I intended to do. Two more for Tommy Johnstone.
Johnston, 2.
So that's an 8 chalks advantage for Tommy Johnstone. And he is steaming through this. He only allowed Mark Britton 9 chalks in the first round match. Strange that both these bowlers absolutely raced through their first round matches, because K Armitage, Yes, Ken Armitage took out Robert Hitchin 21-6.
Yes.
And that was a bit of a shock, Brian.
Well, it was, wasn't it? Because Hitchin, the outstanding Yorkshire bowler, I think it's all about getting a run with a jab. But I mean, Johnson, I've seen on this green over the years, he's disappointed in one particular year, but he's got great following, you know, in Manchester where he started and now in Warrington where he lives. He'll give you a run for his money, will Tommy Johnson. He will stick at it. He'll build and build. He's a very persistent, precise bowler. People say it's time he made the big breakthrough, but I think he already has.
Well, Ken Armitage has broken through there, and he's taken a single. Now, can he make a run? I just wonder.
Well, here we are, greenside with Roy Armstrong. Definitely got the best view of this end, Roy, and Ken Armitage really needs to win it. His lead.
Yes, he's in a desperate situation, and he's tried something completely different. He's gone away from the parts of the green he's played before. He's coming about 38 yards, and it's all downhill now. He needs to spell just a little bit more, just a little bit more. That's not bad, not bad. That's about a foot off.
Do we think he's holding two?
Oh, he's definitely two. Yes, and Tommy's put this wider. Coming off the crown now. He's got a lot of bending to do, but it's too far. He's left Ken two here. He's left Ken two.
Well, that really is just what Ken needed after that awesome start from Tommy Johnstone, who looked in as good a nick as he did yesterday when he beat Robert Hitchin 21-6.
Yes, I in fact detected during the course of this week a new spring in Tommy's step. There is about, in fact, to be a happy event in the Johnstone household. There's going to be the patter of little feet, and who knows, in a decade or two, we may have another Johnstone wreaking more havoc on the greens.
Well, if the young lad or the young girl takes after Tommy, it'll be the patter of heavy feet, Roy.
So, Tommy with many things on his mind at the moment. But the big one is winning this Best Masters second round match against Ken Armitage. And Tommy's been a little bit loose with his first bowl. Ken Armitage desperately loose with both his. So it's there for the winning.
Johnstone.
Yeah. Two more for Tommy Johnstone. So Tommy Johnstone with a very, very substantial lead now. 9 chalks in front. And that'll take some pulling back. There's a little downhill finish there on that particular mark, and Tommy judged it to perfection. Hey, he'll get the jack. No, rotten luck. He seemed to be spot on, did Ken, then to take the block through, but he didn't touch the yellow ball, fell away, left the way open for Tommy. Off. They used to say about plumbers they always left their tools behind, but I tell you what, this plumber's got it all down there on the green. Everything's working for him. There's 2 more. That takes him to 17-6. Doubles back to back. An awesome score. 17 chalks he's put away with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 2. That's 7 doubles in that 17 chalks.
Just wondering, Hugh, whether he can get home ahead of the 22 ends he needed to beat Robert Hitchin 21-6. We've had 1 no end, and we're just starting the 17th, so I suppose you could argue that we've only had 15 with the no end, but they played it, so it must count. We're into the 17th end, 17-6.
Could be a promotion job for Tommy. I think he has pushed it. The yellow ball being pushed closer to the block. Just beat the blue ball, creep past. Yes! Oh, not only crept past, but kissed the jet when he got there. Tommy is flying. He's got a touch. Unlucky. I think he's still left two. We'll see.
Okay. Armitage.
No.
1.
No, it worked to
Armitage.
Ken's advantage. A single for Ken Armitage. 7-17. Well, Ken with a mountain to climb. The first one is up over the crown. Followed the block perfectly. So did Tommy. Well, that was a difficult block to get to because it had been moved quite a distance, and therefore the judgment had to be adjusted. Tommy counting 1. Turned his ball over.
Turned over at the bias.
Coming in on the other hand. Good try, but
Johnstone.
1 is all he'll get out of it, but he'll be satisfied with 1. 18-7, Tommy Johnstone in the driving seat. Well, I would think the bookmakers' odds on Tommy Johnstone winning the entire tournament